Welcome to the fantasy audiobook, Overlord for All, Recruit the Shadows and Become Invincible. Chapter 21. It's this kind of castle again. The Knight of Holy Light looked at the tall castle in the distance, his face uncertain. This castle is, of course, Black Shadow Castle. During the past few days of chasing the blood-eyed demon ape, he had seen many similar castles along the way. Every castle gave him an extremely dangerous feeling. The strange thing is that the strength of the creatures in the castle is very poor. Speaking of which, the blood-eyed demon ape was as strong as him because it hit a castle and was seriously injured in the rebound. This gave him the opportunity to hunt down Crimson Moon Forest, but unfortunately he failed. The dying blood-eyed demon ape escaped into Crimson Moon Forest. The Holy Light Knight could see that there was an extremely powerful protective force in the sky above this castle, which made him tremble with fear. The sacred domain cannot be broken, and a strong attack will cause heavy damage. Go back to the Holy Court first and ask what the sudden appearance of these castles is all about. Is it some force that has been hidden for a long time? The Knight of Holy Light chose to leave, and did not come to Black Shadow Castle. He quickly turned into a thunder and fled into the sky. The unknown is always the scariest thing, and the strong ones of Sacred Domain are no exception. There was another reason, and that was that this was Crimson Moon Forest and he didn't dare to stay longer. This place is too ominous and mysterious. There are not 100 but 80 strong men from the Sacred Domain who died in Crimson Moon Forest, and there are many gods. As a senior member of the Holy Court, he needs to know more things than low-level goblin creatures like Gilton. This castle appears here, no matter who is behind it, it is seeking death. Daring to break into Crimson Moon Forest will lead to death. There will be no exceptions. Leuan obviously didn't know about the Holy Light Knight's brief attention. At this time, Leuan was collecting beast corpses, including 2 rank 6 monsters. After some collection, Leuan got 930 units of food, 110 units of elite food, and 8 energy stones. 6 of the energy stones come from rank 6 monsters, 4 per head. It can be seen that more energy stones can be obtained by killing monsters with rank 6 or above. Unfortunately, Nia and the others also killed a rank 5 elite beast this time and did not obtain the origin crystal. However, there is good news. The first 3 ghosts recruited have been upgraded to rank 6, and the 2 ghosts and 3 giants recruited later have also been upgraded to rank 5. As for Ghost Shadow General Nia, he is just a hair away from reaching rank 7. Leuan himself rose to the middle of rank 4. I believe that Nia should be able to upgrade by tonight at the latest. Nia of rank 7 is enough to fight against rank 8, so then you can focus on killing Warcraft. Warcraft can provide more energy stones and more energy, making it easier for everyone to improve their levels together. As long as everyone receives another wave of promotions, it's time to go to the Goblin Tribe. After taking out the Goblin Tribe, the castle may not be upgraded, but the Black Shadow Crystal should be able to be upgraded to level 3. Nia and the others continued to go out to kill monsters. Leuan casually transferred 300 units of food to Mo Shanshan and threw the rest into the trading square. Time passed slowly, and the giant ghost shadow worked tirelessly, bringing back many corpses of beasts and monsters throughout the afternoon. Nearly 2,000 units of food were collected, and some other items were also harvested. As Leuan thought, when night fell, Ghost Shadow General Nia successfully broke through to rank 7. At night, Nia and the others were killing monsters outside Crimson Moon Forest. Leuan was tinkering with dinner in the castle. Just as the aroma of steamed meat filled the air, a loud noise came from outside the castle. Rumbling, the earth shook. Leuan's expression changed and he appeared in the yard. At the same time, Nia's ghosts and giant shadows also abandoned the monsters that were about to be killed by them and returned to the castle. 3 giant shadows stood in front of Leuan, protecting him firmly. Nia took the lead and stood guard in front of the castle gate, while the other 5 ghosts were scattered in all directions to be on guard. But Leuan ignored them. His eyes had been looking at the Big Mac outside the castle since he appeared in the yard. Black Shadow Castle is more than 20 meters high, and the giant is half as tall as the castle. It was dozens of meters away, but it seemed to be right in front of us, a black mountain peak standing like a knife. It is a tall giant shadow. In front of this giant, it is also a bigger ant. This is a giant creature that looks like an ape. The huge body was covered with deep wounds to the bone, large areas of corroded and burned marks, and almost no intact parts. A pair of blood-colored eyes, like two blood moons, stared straight at Black Shadow Castle. With the help of the lights in the castle, it was vaguely visible that there were complex human emotions on the face that had half of the skull cut off. There is anger, reluctance, pain, struggle, and so on. Nia seemed to recognize the giant ape, and said to Leuan in a deep voice, "King, he is the monster being chased by that knight." Hearing this, Leuan's heart moved, but he didn't say anything. To be hunted down by the Holy Light Knight, this demonic ape must also be a saint-ranked demonic beast. Although Leuan was shocked, he was not too scared. After all, the castle was still under protection and the magic ape could not enter. What he was curious about was, what was this giant ape doing in the castle? Leuan did not feel any killing intent in this giant ape, and the aura was not violent. Roar! At this moment, the giant ape roared into the sky and let out an ear-splitting roar. In Crimson Moon Forest, countless beasts and monsters are running away like crazy. After a long roar, the giant ape lowered his head, bared his fangs, and landed on Black Shadow Castle again with his blood-red eyes. Immediately afterwards, a punch was struck at Black Shadow Castle. That huge fist penetrated the void in the blink of an eye, sounding waves of sonic booms. "Protect my king." Nia quickly retreated and blocked Leuan with Juing. He also knows that the castle has a protective barrier, but his instinct makes him come back to protect Leuan, which is the mission of their existence. Through the gap between the giant shadows, Leuan could see the giant ape's fist quickly approaching the castle. Sacred domain monsters are highly intelligent. Leuan and Black Shadow never provoked it, so why did the other party attack Black Shadow Castle? Before the giant ape's fist came close, the milky white protective cover above the castle appeared, causing ripples in circles. But soon, the fist stopped. It was not because of the protective barrier of Black Shadow Castle, but because the fist stopped on its own. Not only did he stop, he fell to the ground with a whirring sound. What fell together with the fist was the giant ape's body, which suddenly fell forward and hit the ground heavily. Suddenly, the earth shook again. Outside the castle, large trees were crushed and broken as the giant ape's body fell. Countless smoke and dust rose instantly, almost covering the entire Black Shadow Castle, making it difficult to see the outside world. After a while, peace was restored outside. Under the dim moonlight, there was silence. The giant ape was lying sideways on the ground, with his head tilted and eyes closed, facing in the direction of Black Shadow Castle. Only the fist that was thrown out first landed directly at the gate of the castle, less than half a meter away from the protective barrier. Died. Leuan pulled away the ghost figure and stared at the giant ape outside the door, his mind a little confused. "General, let's go take a look." Nia took the initiative to ask for help and appeared outside the city in an instant, cautiously approaching the giant ape on the ground. After a while, Nia came back and said, "To my king, this ape has no life breath, the holy soul is extinguished, and it is completely dead." "Really dead? A sacred domain monster died at the gate of his castle. Wait, sacred domain warcraft." Leuan suddenly realized that this was the body of a sacred domain monster. If they weren't killed by ghosts, can they be collected? If you can collect it, you can make a lot of money. The black-crowned golden eagle is the sacred domain monster, and it has been one of the threats to Black Shadow Castle since its appearance. For Leuan now, the only thing he can do is to be beaten by the sacred domain monster. He and Sombra also met the same end. Therefore, Leuan has not yet thought of killing the sacred domain monster. Even the werewolf tribe that owned Semi-Saint, Leuan put them last and would not easily provoke them. There is no doubt that if you can kill a sacred domain monster, the benefits will definitely be huge. In the game world, the sacred domain monster is equivalent to the transcendent level boss in the dungeon. And now, Leuan did nothing, and a sacred domain monster died at the door of his castle. Who would have thought that the corpse of a sacred domain monster would be delivered to your door? I just don't know if the collection can be successful. After all, he and Guiying did not kill the giant ape, and they did not make any effort during the process. With deep anticipation, Leuan walked quickly outside the castle. The main reason is that the body of the giant ape is too huge. It is at least 40 to 50 meters tall and weighs hundreds of tons, which cannot be accommodated in the yard. You can't collect it without going out, and collection is limited by distance. The distance is not enough to trigger the collection prompt box. This was the first time Leuan walked out of the castle, but he had nothing else to think about. All he could think about was the corpse of the giant ape. How many energy stones can be collected? How many origin crystals can there be? Are there any other valuable items? When he came outside the door, Leuan looked up at the body of the giant ape with burning eyes. I found the corpse of a monster, please collect it immediately. Closing square bracket. The prompt box that usually looked dull and boring is now so beautiful. You can really collect it. Leuan was overjoyed and said immediately. As soon as these two words came out of his mouth, Leuan's expression suddenly changed. He returned as fast as he left the castle. In the blink of an eye, Leuan had reappeared in the courtyard, within the protective barrier of the castle. A pair of eyes stared at the corpse of the giant ape. Nia and other ghosts and giant shadows are also facing a formidable enemy at this moment, and they are ready. Without him, just now, the giant ape's fingers moved, the same fingers that landed on the fist at the door. And now, Ida's still moving. Leuan stared at the fingers that kept bouncing up and down, and felt a tingle in his heart. What's going on? Is this giant ape not completely dead yet? That's not right. He was just prompted to collect the corpse, which means that the giant ape is indeed dead. Is it a tic caused by a nerve reflex arc? Not to mention, Leuan was really scared to death just now, and now his little heart is still beating loudly. If the giant ape was pretending to be dead, just poking him to death with that finger would be the same as poking a mosquito to death. But now the finger is still moving, and the nerve reflex arc is too long. At this moment, a squeaking sound came from the giant ape's fist, and it screamed anxiously. Soon, a little golden monkey, half the height of a man, jumped out from the fingers of his fist. Squeak, squeak. After the little monkey jumped out, it jumped all the way and went straight to the chest of the giant ape, screaming incessantly. Squeak, squeak. The little monkey kept beating on the giant ape's body, seemingly calling his mother to wake up. Unfortunately, his mother could no longer respond to his call as usual and picked him up and put him on her shoulders. In the castle courtyard, Leuan watched this scene in silence. Recalling the fist the giant ape had just waved at Black Shadow Castle, Leuan sighed secretly. No wonder he didn't feel the murderous intention in the giant ape. The other party didn't really want to attack Black Shadow Castle at all. This giant ape just used his last strength to send his child to the castle. Otherwise, why would the fist land right at the castle door? I took another look at the golden monkey that was still calling, but it was just the aura of rank 3. In Crimson Moon Forest, little monkeys can't survive unscathed. Leuan looked at the giant ape corpse and sighed. Do you want me to protect your child? You think too highly of me. Now he is crossing the river like a clay bodhisattva, and the crises are one after another. After watching for a while, Leuan walked out of the castle gate again and came to the body of the giant ape. Squeak, squeak, squeak. As if knowing what was going to happen next, the little monkey jumped to the ground with its hair standing on end, bared its teeth at Leuan, and refused to let him get close. When the golden monkey came in front of him, Leuan discovered that there was a special rune on the golden monkey's forehead. It was a contract rune, a master-servant contract. Obviously, this contract rune was prepared in advance by the dead giant ape. He knew that there were strong human beings in the castle, and hoped that his child could be protected by the owner of the castle. Maybe this is the greatness of maternal love, it has nothing to do with race. At this time, Nia had already taken action to capture the little monkey. How could the little monkey in rank 3 have the power to resist? If Leuan's guess is correct, this little monkey is only a few days old. He was born with the strength of rank 3, and his appearance shows that he has a lot of intelligence, which shows that he has great potential. In time, he will become another sacred domain monster. However, it's just a sacred domain monster. It's pretty strong now. Will I still be interested in it in the future? You know, the growth limit of any shadow recruited by Leuan is sacred domain. Squeak, squeak. The little monkey struggled wildly in Nia's hands, screaming at the top of his lungs. Leuan looked at the body of the giant ape, and finally walked towards the little monkey and said, "Humans are not grass and trees. I have to say that your mother successfully impressed me. From now on, you can follow me, which can be regarded as my payment. Your mother's reward. Eh? What's the reward? Of course it was the corpse brought up by the giant ape. After saying that, Leuan stretched out his hand and pressed it on the little monkey's forehead. The contract runes glowed, slowly blending into Leuan's aura, becoming integrated with his integrated union. In the process, the little monkey's struggle became weaker and weaker, and finally it became quiet, with tears in its little eyes. At the same time, a new prompt box appeared in front of Leuan's eyes. Contract Beast. Mutated Blood-Eyed Demon Ape. Strength Level. Rank 3. Loyalty. 100 Closing square bracket. Growth Limit. Divine Realm. Leuan looked at it and was a little surprised. The upper limit of this little guy's growth was actually the Divine Realm. He doesn't think highly of Sacred Domain monsters, but Divine Realm. The upper limit of 9 Shadows General's growth is Divine Realm. In this way, it seems good to accept this little monkey. Not only did I pick up a corpse of a Sacred Domain monster for nothing, I also got a thug with the potential of the Divine Realm. After a while, the contract was reached. Leuan asked Nia to let go of the little monkey, and the little monkey stood beside him obediently. Go say goodbye to your mother, don't take too long. Hearing this, the little monkey quickly ran towards the giant ape's body and gently lay on the giant ape's arm. A few minutes later, the little monkey jumped off the giant ape's body and walked towards Leuan, looking back 3 times, looking pitiful and helpless. Since you are wise, you should remember your mother's murderer. Remember it well, you will take revenge with your own hands in the future. As Leuan spoke, he reached out to cover the little monkey's eyes and began to collect the giant ape's corpse. The collection of monster corpses is successful, you have harvested. Collection of Warcraft corpses is successful, you have obtained 200 energy stones, 10 origin crystals, and a special building drawing. Closing square bracket. As expected of the corpse of the Sacred Domain monster, a full 200 energy stones and 10 origin crystals. There are many of these things, but compared to the promotion materials in castles and barracks, they are still far behind. But, isn't this resource that comes to your doorstep delicious? Leuan is still very satisfied, especially since he also collected special architectural drawings this time. Leuan already knows something about architectural drawings. At the beginning, the little fairy Overlord said that when she was collecting stones, she collected special building drawings, which were the furnaces over there. It is precisely because the little fairy's territory has a furnace that the dwarves can use it to smelt iron essence. Later, Leuan went to the announcement to check the information on special architectural drawings. The types of drawings are not limited to buildings, but also include equipment drawings, divine ability skill drawings, or some special function drawings. Drawings also have levels, divided into low level, middle level, saint level and divine level. For example, the furnace of Little Fairy Mo Shanshan is a high-level drawing, and the furnace built is also a high-level building. All blueprints, no matter how they are obtained, need to be appraised to know their specific grade and function, which also depends on personal luck. After getting the blueprint, the identification will be automatically activated, and there is no need to learn this skill. Leuan did not identify the drawings immediately, but returned to the castle with the little monkey. The little monkey had just lost his mother and was feeling depressed. Leuan was not very good at comforting people, let alone when he was facing a monkey. He gave him a piece of meat and ignored him. Divine Realm is Divine Realm, and that is also the future. Who knows when? Leuan is not in the habit of being a nanny, so it would be good to ensure that he survives. As for Nia and the others, they naturally cannot sit idle and go out to kill monsters again. Leuan simply filled his stomach, came to the castle warehouse, and found the architectural drawings he had just obtained. The drawing is made of craft paper, and there are many lines and runes on it that look like ghostly drawings. It's hard to tell what it is. Architectural drawings, I wonder what their grade is. After all, it was collected from the corpse of a Sacred Domain monster. Even if it wasn't high level, it wouldn't be low level. When Leuan picks up the craft paper, the identification is automatically activated. If you find an architectural drawing, should you conduct an appraisal immediately? Closing square bracket. Identify immediately. Suddenly, a stream of light flashed on the craft paper, and the specific information of the drawing was clearly displayed in front of Leuan's eyes. Saint-level architectural drawings. Holy Source Tower. Function 1. Strengthen the loyalty of units to Overlord. Closing square bracket. Function 2. Within the territory, the Overlord and unit strength will be unconditionally increased by rank 1. Closing square bracket. Function 3. There is rich energy in the tower, which can quickly help Overlord and troops improve their strength. Closing square bracket. Construction materials. 10,000 units of stone, 30,000 units of wood, 500 units of fine iron, and 10 origin crystals. Closing square bracket. Looking at the prompt information in front of him, Leuan raised the corners of his mouth slightly. Good luck, Saint Source Tower, Saint-level building. Leuan smiled and began to seriously consider the specific functions of the Holy Source Tower. The first function is to strengthen the loyalty of the troops to the Overlord, which is a bit useless for Leuan. A soldier in the Black Shadow Army will be 100% loyal to him after being recruited, and there will be no loss of loyalty. The second function is very powerful. Within the territory, the strength of the Overlord and troops is unconditionally improved by 1 level. Leuan is now rank 4, and with the Holy Source Tower, he will be directly promoted to rank 5. Nia was promoted from rank 7 to rank 8. Of course, the triggering condition is within the territory, with a radius of 1,500 meters of Black Shadow Castle. The third function is also very powerful. There is rich energy in the Holy Source Tower. Entering it can quickly improve your strength. This is a bit similar to those training in Sacred Land. War Continent may seem like a game, but this is the real world. Killing monsters can gain powerful energy, and it can naturally be improved through practice. Otherwise, how can the local forces do this? It's just that Leuan usually relies on Nia and others to kill monsters to improve, and ignores his own slow improvement. He practiced and absorbed energy by himself, but Leuan didn't have the corresponding technique, so the speed was very slow. He could absorb at most 100 points of energy in a day. With the Holy Source Tower, he can enjoy the energy provided by Nia and the others for spawning monsters while absorbing energy in the Holy Source Tower. To sum up, except for the first function of the Holy Source Tower, which is useless, the other two are worthy of the name of saint-level buildings. Looking at the construction resources of the Holy Source Tower, the demand is not very great. 30,000 units of wood, 10,000 units of stone, 500 units of iron essence and 10 origin crystals. Fortunately, Leuan can provide these resources at once. After today's food exchange, there are already 15,000 units of stone and 46,000 units of wood in the warehouse. Including the 10 origin crystals collected from the corpse of the blood-eyed demon ape, there are a total of 14 origin crystals. As for the iron spirits, although they are only in their early 200s now, the little fairy Overlord has smelted more than 300 units today. Through territorial information, Leuan can know the output of materials in the territory. I don't know what the specific situation is at Little Fairy's side. It was said before that it could smelt 300 units a day. As a result, what he saw was 390 units, which was close to 400 units. If these more than 300 units of iron spirits were transferred back, it would be enough to build the Holy Source Tower. In other words, as long as Leuan is willing, the Holy Source Tower can be built now. But Leuan was a little hesitant at this time. These resources are used to upgrade the castle and barracks. If they are used to build the Holy Source Tower now, the upgrade of the castle and barracks will have to be postponed. This matter needs to be weighed carefully and the pros and cons must be carefully weighed and prioritized. Finally, Leuan decided to build the Holy Source Tower. Because relatively speaking, the benefits of building the Holy Source Tower at this time are greater. The last two functions of the Holy Source Tower are to enhance the combat power of him and the Black Shadow. This is Leuan's most urgent need. Especially the unconditional promotion of rank 1 within the territory, which is simply a defensive weapon. This is equivalent to any enemy who attacks the castle being unconditionally weakened by 1 level when they come into the territory. It may play a vital role in the upcoming Beast Tide. As for the upgrade of the castle and barracks, Leuan is confident that he can upgrade the level of the barracks before the Beast Tide comes. However, it is a bit difficult to upgrade the castle to the town, and the iron spirits are very likely to be insufficient, unless the little fairy can provide 3 to 5,000 iron spirits every day. To build the Holy Source Tower, you only need the origin crystal from the barracks upgrade, but no energy stone. There are only 14 origin crystals in total now, which is more than 30 short of upgrading the barracks. Even if they are used, they will not have much impact. Everyone's strength has improved. If we kill more elite beasts and monsters, and then destroy the goblin lair, we will most likely have a chance to gather them together. Leuan is a man of action, and he will make a decision immediately. At that moment, Leuan sent a message to the little fairy Overlord, asking her to immediately transfer the existing iron spirits. It was still early and the little fairy Mo Shanshan was still awake. After receiving the news, she directly transferred 390 units of iron essence to him. As a subordinate, they obey the orders of the main city unconditionally. Even if the little fairy refuses to hand it over, Leuan can directly use the authority to empty the contents of her warehouse. Just then, the little fairy sent a message. Fairy Overlord. The shadow is big, I don't seem to have enough food. Leuan. What's going on? There's not enough food. I spent a lot of time today and transferred 900 units of food to the little fairy. Leuan's heart moved slightly and he quickly checked the information about the little fairy castle. Recruit mountain dwarves, 6. 197 natives took refuge with the dwarves. As expected, there were more than 50 more dwarves who had taken refuge with the dwarves. Really, there is nothing to say. No wonder there is so much iron essence smelted out. Leuan looked at his warehouse and doubted whether he could afford to maintain this property. At this rate of defection, 100 a day, it's really a problem. Fairy Overlord. 59 more dwarves have come. They are so pitiful. Anyway, I have work to do here, so I asked my uncle to bring them back. Little Fairy Overlord. Dad, it should be fine, right? Leuan. 400 units of food will be transferred to you immediately. Fairy Overlord. Long live Sombra. Leuan turned off the friend chat and didn't take it seriously. The more dwarves the Fairy Overlord has, it is not a bad thing for him, which means that a large number of iron elves will soon arrive. In the current trading square, there are already a few overlords looking for iron spirits. Moreover, energy stones are basically exchanged, and 1 energy stone can be exchanged for 1 unit of iron essence. Energy stone is mainly used to upgrade barracks, and iron essence is used to upgrade castles. It can be seen that these overlords focus on upgrading castles. The main reason is that it is easier to upgrade the castle, and stone and wood are not difficult to obtain. Upgrading the barracks requires energy stone and origin crystal, which are relatively difficult to obtain, and everyone only has a small amount of energy stone and origin crystal in their hands. There is no hope of upgrading the barracks. Instead of keeping these materials, it is better to exchange them for resources to upgrade the castle. There are also successful transactions, and the tradable units are very small. 10 units is already a large amount. It can be seen that iron essence is the most urgent demand at this stage. It's a pity that Leuan himself is not strong enough yet, otherwise he would have obtained a large amount of upgrade materials by relying on iron skill. But don't worry about this moment, there will be plenty of opportunities later. As long as the little fairy didn't come to seek refuge with hundreds of dwarves at once, Leuan felt that he could still handle it. Now a dwarf in his early 200s can only eat 1,200 units of food a day. If Nia and the others were allowed to focus on getting food, with their current strength, they would easily be able to make 8,000 meals a day. It's just that Leuan asked them to kill more high-level beasts and monsters, so the efficiency dropped a bit. After all, although those low-level beasts provide food, they obtain too few energy points and are not cost-effective. That blood-eyed demon ape is a bit of a waste. The corpse of the blood-eyed demon ape provided no energy points and no food was collected. Otherwise, with its identity as a sacred domain monster and its weight of hundreds of tons, it would definitely be able to collect a massive amount of food. Sacred domain level food, I believe it should be stronger than elite level food, right? Although he said this, Leuan just said casually that the value of the drawings of the Holy Source Tower cannot be compared with food. At this time, there really wasn't much food in Leuan warehouse, only dozens of elite level food for the unit's own use. He had no choice but to remove 400 units from the exchange square and give them to the little fairy. After getting this done, Leuan didn't care about anything else and came to the yard. Black Shadow Overlord, the resources you have are enough to build the Holy Source Tower. Would you like to build it immediately? Closing square bracket. Build now. In an instant, a black tower appeared at the auxiliary castle on the left side of the castle. The black tower is not high, only about 10 meters, and has 3 floors. The whole body is as dark as black shadow crystal, and there are red lines on the wall that flow from time to time, looking extremely mysterious. Auxiliary building. Holy Source Tower. Level. Saint level. First level. Improve energy absorption efficiency. The higher the level, the higher the absorption efficiency. Closing square bracket. Second level. Radiate energy to enhance the strength of the Overlord unit. Closing square bracket. The third level. Radiate energy to enhance and consolidate the territory and the loyalty of territorial units. Closing square bracket. Tip. The Holy Source Tower is only effective for Sacred Domain and below. Closing square bracket. The 3-story energy tower corresponds to a function in the introduction of the drawing. What attracted attention was that the Holy Source Tower could actually strengthen the loyalty of territorial troops, which was not mentioned in the previous introduction. The struggle for hegemony among all races requires the siege of cities and territories, and by then this function will no longer be considered useless. But it was too early to say this at this time. Leuan couldn't wait to push open the tower door and walked into the Holy Source Tower. You absorbed 5 points of energy. Closing square bracket. You absorbed 5 points of energy. Closing square bracket. Continuous reminders flashed before Leuan's eyes, almost one every second. In other words, every second he spends in the Holy Source Tower is equivalent to Nia and the others killing a rank 1 beast outside. Don't look at the small energy of these 5 points, 5 points per second, that's 300 points per minute. 300 points, which is more than killing 2 rank 5 elite beasts. 18,000 an hour, which is 432,000 energy points in 1 day. As for Leuan himself, the amount of energy he actively absorbs in a day is almost 100 points, and his efficiency has increased by 400 times. Leuan secretly estimated that he should have absorbed more than 40,000 energy points when he upgraded from rank 3 to rank 4. Now he is rank 4. If he upgrades to rank 5, the energy required will double to 80,000. Today, Haiying and the others killed monsters all day long, providing him with about 35,000 energy. In the Holy Source Tower, Leuan does nothing, Nia and the others take a break, and he can be upgraded to rank 5 in 1 day. With such enhanced effects, this is saint-level architecture. However, according to the prompts, the Holy Source Tower also has restrictions, that is, for those below the Sacred Domain. If you advance to Sacred Domain, you won't be able to enjoy this improvement. But for Leuan, this is not a restriction at all. Now he just wants to quickly improve his strength. Even after he is promoted to Saint rank, the Holy Source Tower will be useless to him, but what about his shadow troop? In the future, he will also summon countless new shadow troops, and they will either be recruited or Sacred Domain. With the Holy Source Tower, these shadows can quickly become Sacred Domain. The struggle for hegemony does not rely solely on Leuan. No matter how strong he is always the king who sticks to his territory. He relies on these dark shadows to the outside world. All in all, this Holy Source Tower is more than just a saint weapon, it is simply a divine weapon. Although it consumes a lot of resources, it is a sure profit now and in the long-term future. At this moment, Leuan sensed that Nia and the others were back, apparently bringing back a bunch of monster corpses. However, when Leuan went out, he found that there were only 3 beasts, and they were all rank 4. My king, tonight, there are no living creatures in the territory. Nia seemed to see Leuan's doubts and couldn't help but explain. Hearing this, Leuan frowned and quickly thought of the reason for this situation. Perhaps the commotion the blood-eyed demon ape made before his death scared away all the wild beasts in the territory. After all, it was a Sacred Domain monster. At this time, Nia suddenly said in surprise, "My king, I have been promoted to rank 8. Leuan smiled and glanced at the Holy Source Tower behind him. Nia had just been promoted to rank 7 not long ago, how could he be promoted to rank 8 now? Obviously, this was the blessing given to him by the Holy Source Tower, not a real advancement. While collecting the corpses, Leuan told Nia the reason, which made Nia a little depressed and happy in vain. You go to my bedroom and move the bed to the Holy Source Tower. Leuan decided that in addition to eating, drinking, and defecating, he would settle down in the Holy Source Tower. Black Shadow Castle, Holy Source Tower. Leuan was not joking, he really slept in the tower. He absorbs energy passively, and does not need to actively absorb it at all. Nia and the giant ghost Shadow were also in the Holy Source Tower at this time. Not only them, but also the little monkey was thrown into the tower by Leuan. After Leuan's inquiry, rank 7's Nia can now absorb 10 points of energy per second, which is twice as fast as him. After a whole day, that's more than 70,000 points. Of course, if Nia wants to advance to rank 8, plus the energy gained from killing beasts, he will need at least more than 500,000 energy points. After spending 7 or 8 days in the Holy Source Tower, you can be promoted to rank 8. But time does not allow, there are only 4 days left, and the attack of the beast tide is coming. Therefore, it is impossible for Nia and the giant ghosts to stay in the Holy Source Tower and waste time. They still have to go outside to farm monsters. In addition to needing to farm resources, they can get more energy points outside. If they kill more high-level monsters, the energy points gained will be higher, which is better than in the Holy Source Tower. A rank 6 monster can provide Nia with 2,000 to 3,000 points of energy. If you brush dozens of them at will, it will be far better than cultivating in the Holy Source Tower. Leuan usually gets less energy points, that's because he doesn't do the beasts of war himself. Just like last hitting in the game, the person who does the last hitting gets more money, and the teammates next to him get much less. Although Leuan is not an auxiliary, what he gets is the group gain, which is naturally less. This also shows that the Holy Source Tower is mainly for low-level players. For high-level players, going out to kill monsters is the best choice. It's normal to think about it. If working hard outside is not as good as sleeping in the Holy Source Tower, it would be too unfair. Now that the beasts and monsters in the territory are scared away by the blood-eyed demon ape, they can only stay in the Holy Source Tower to absorb energy. At midnight, Leuan had already fallen asleep and had a big dream. Sitting cross-legged, Nia suddenly opened her eyes and walked straight to Leuan's big bed. My king, my king. Nia bowed beside Leuan and shouted softly. After shouting twice, Leuan opened his eyes and asked vaguely, is it time? Well, it's just past 12 o'clock. Nia replied. Leuan rubbed his eyes, got out of bed and walked directly outside the tower. Nia called him, which was arranged by Leuan himself, in order to recruit new shadow troops in time. Now that we have the Holy Source Tower, we can't waste time. When Leuan came to the black shadow crystal with sleepy eyes, the prompt box came as expected. The barracks is fully charged, would you like to recruit shadow soldiers immediately? Closing square bracket. Recruit now. After a while, 5 black figures appeared in front of Leuan. It's a pity that no new troops were recruited this time. There are still 2 ghosts and 3 giant shadows, and the ranks are all rank 4. This thing depends purely on luck and cannot be forced. Leuan sighed secretly, and then returned to the Holy Source Tower with the newly recruited Black Shadow. For 4 days, Leuan had 1 General Nia, 7 ghosts, and 6 giants under his command. Continue to absorb energy. Leuan lay back on the bed and added, Nia, you should go out to hunt wild beasts. After midnight, those monsters may come back. Well, just go out alone. Don't go out to other black shadows. Try to kill them as much as possible. Some high-level monsters. Yes, my king. Nia responded and immediately left the Holy Source Tower. The reason why Nia was allowed to go out alone was very simple, to prevent other ghosts and giant shadows from sharing energy points. As the highest combat power of Black Shadow Castle and the biggest support of the Beast Tide in a few days, we must find a way to promote him to rank 9. As long as Nia becomes rank 9 and is as powerful as Sacred Domain, then there is nothing to fear. The night passed peacefully, and the next day was a sunny day. When Leuan woke up, he found that he had successfully advanced to rank 5. Obviously, Nia gained something in the second half of the night. he may not be able to advance based on the energy provided by the Holy Source Tower alone. When walking out of the energy tower, there were indeed some corpses of World of Warcraft beasts piled in the yard. Not many, about 30 or so, most of them rank 5, rank 6, and one rank 7 monster. Leuan collected directly and obtained a total of 1,300 units of food. They were all high-level monsters, so the food collected was naturally more. In addition, there are 18 energy stones and 3 origin crystals. I looked at the exchange square again and saw that everything had been replaced. In the warehouse, there are currently 8,500 units of stone, 22,000 units of wood, and 279 energy stones. 7 origin crystals, 110 units of iron essence. Poor Leuan did not hang food in the trading square, but handed it all to the little ferry, where 200 mouths were waiting for him. I still don't know if there will be another dwarf over there to seek refuge today. When Leuan was making breakfast, he received a message from the little fairy. Little fairy overlord. The food has been received, thank you Black Shadow. Hey, there are 200 more units. Leuan, keep it, I'm afraid another dwarf will come to seek refuge with you soon. Little fairy overlord. Black Shadow is so powerful, how did you know that another dwarf is coming to my place? Leuan was mentally prepared for this and replied calmly, how much? Little fairy overlord. The dwarf uncle didn't say much, I think there are only about 200, and they are on their way to the castle now. The piece of meat Leuan bit into his mouth almost spurted out. Just 200, just. This little fairy Mo Shanshan thinks of herself as a grain elevator. Calm down, there are 200 more dwarves, and there are more than 400 dwarves on the little fairy's side. The iron spirit production will definitely be doubled, and 400 will become 800 in one day. Not just 2,500 units of food. Drizzle, if you have the guts, you can do it 10 times, and let the Black Shadow work hard to find food for you. Leuan swallowed the meat in his mouth and said directly, it's not a big problem, I can afford to feed Chianer with 800 mouths. Fairy Overlord, really, that's great, I'm afraid Black Shadow will be very angry. Little Fairy Overlord, I heard that there is a rebellion in the Dwarf Kingdom, and there are constant wars. There are many refugees here. If you encounter them, I will call them back. Leuan decisively closed the contact box and could no longer chat. There is a rebellion in the Dwarf Kingdom, and it seems that the local forces in this war continent are also in chaos. This is good news for the 3 billion overlords. If the forces in war continent were all monolithic, that wouldn't be a good sign. After all, to the local forces of war continent, the 3 billion people on Earth who suddenly arrived are all invaders. After breakfast, Leuan called out the ghosts and giant shadows in the Holy Source Tower and threw them all out to hunt the monsters. Nia still acted alone, hunting high-level monsters and focusing on his own upgrades. If everything goes well, Nia will probably be able to reach rank 8 by killing high-level monsters for a whole day. Rank 8 can fight Nia of rank 9, enough to kill the Goblin tribe. That's right, Leuan's goal today is the Goblin tribe. Night falls, Black Shadow Castle Courtyard. With the blessing of the Holy Source Tower, Nia exudes the aura of rank 9. As Leuan expected, in the afternoon, Nia, who had been fighting for most of the day, had broken through to rank 8. There was a price, too, and that was dying dozens of times during the day. Really trying my best. Nia is looking for all rank 8 monsters in Crimson Moon Forest. There are winners and losers. Not only has he been promoted to rank 8, but Leuan has also been promoted to the peak of rank 5, which shows how many energy points he gained today. Other ghosts and giant shadows have also been improved, especially the 5 black shadows recruited in the early hours of last night. After practicing in the Holy Source Tower all night and killing wild monsters all day long, all of them were promoted from rank 4 to rank 5. The 2 ghosts recruited at the beginning were even promoted to rank 7. Nia General, rank 8. There are 2 ghosts of rank 7, 5 ghosts of rank 5, and 6 giant shadows of rank 5. At this time, the combat power under Leuan's command is not bad, and he deserves to be the first among the 3 billion overlords. Standing at the gate of the castle, Leuan felt quite solemn. Because this time he had to go with him. If he didn't go, he wouldn't be able to harvest anything. The Goblin tribe stores supplies, such as the 500 energy stones from the destruction of the Fellow's castle. These may be available, but the equipment and weapons collected from the corpses cannot be obtained. Nearly 2,000 goblins can collect at least thousands of equipment. Even if they are rank 1, their value cannot be underestimated. Although you can pick up the rags from the corpse and bring it back, it is really rags. The ones collected from the corpses are in perfect condition and new. Of course, you can also ask the Black Shadow to move all the goblin corpses back. It's just that it's too troublesome and a waste of Black Shadow's time. If you have this time, it's better to kill more monsters. Besides, Leuan is no longer the weakling he used to be. With the peak strength of rank 5, with thunder and lightning magic energy, dragon talisman and horse talisman in hand, he is not afraid of anyone below the sacred domain. Even if he couldn't defeat him, the worst he could do was let the ghost take his head through the shadows and return to the castle. As an overlord, as a ruler, it stands to reason that you shouldn't go out in person, you can just strategize from inside and outside. But who says we are weak now? Development requires resources. We are too poor. Also, Leuan himself wants to go out and see what this war continent is like. I've been here for 4 days and I haven't had a good look at the outside. I went out last night, but I just stepped out of the door, so I didn't go out. Nia stood behind Leuan. After hesitating for a long time, he couldn't help but said, "Wong, otherwise, you'd better not go. The general guarantees that the entire goblin tribe will be slaughtered. As our king, how can you be so easily involved in danger?" Leuan waved his hand and said, Okay, you've said this 100 times. Let's go." Seeing Leuan's resolute attitude, Nia stopped persuading and asked, "Your Majesty, how should we go? Should we go directly or go slowly?" Nia has been to the cave dwellings of the goblin tribe and can pass through the shadow space. Just go ahead. Leuan wanted to see if it was true outside, but he also wanted to make a quick decision. Let us deal with the goblin tribe first, and then take a look at the night view of Crimson Moon Forest on the way back. Yes. Nia looked at each other with several ghosts and giant figures, then pulled Leuan and disappeared into the castle yard. The distance of 3,000 meters was reached in an instant. When he reappeared, Leuan was already standing behind a boulder. You can clearly see the outside of the goblin tribe's cave dwellings from here. There is a mountain call ahead, and there are many torches on the mountainside. Under each torch is a cave entrance. Goblins of all sizes were walking around the entrance of the cave. At the bottom of the mountain, there were more than 10 large fires burning. Hundreds of goblins were separated around the fire, skewering the corpses of unknown beasts. Leuan roughly counted, there should be about 500 goblins in the entire mountain call, and just outside the cave dwellings. In other words, most of the goblins are in the cave at this time. "My king, that is the cave dwelling where the chief of the goblin tribe lives," Nia said, pointing to a relatively large hole. Leuan took a look and saw that the entrance of the cave had been decorated with many bones and skeletons hanging on it. Outside the cave entrance, there are 4 armored goblins guarding the cave. "Catch the thief first and capture the king first." Leuan pondered for a moment and then ordered, "Nia, take 2 rank 7 ghosts and go directly to kill the goblin chief. The other ghosts and giant shadows will wait for Nia and the others to fight, and there will be chaos outside, then rush out to kill the other goblins. Remember, Nia, after you kill the chief, go kill other high-level goblins immediately." "Yes, I will obey the king's order." Nia and the others naturally had no objections to Leuan's arrangement. However, when Nia and the others were about to move out, Nia turned around and asked, "Your Majesty, what about you?" Leuan thought for a while and replied, "I'm going to do some finishing work outside, and I'll kill anyone who escapes." Nia opened his mouth, and finally looked at a rank 5 giant shadow and said, "You stay to protect the king, and evacuate at any time if there is danger." The giant shadow suddenly appeared next to Leuan. Leuan didn't refuse. Not to mention, he almost forgot about it. Fortunately, Nia brought it up. With a dark shadow by his side, he feels safe. Even with his current strength, he is enough to defeat this rank 5 giant shadow. But the existence of the giant shadow is to facilitate him to travel through the shadows and save his life. Action. Leuan gave an order, and Nia disappeared directly from the place with 2 rank 7 ghosts. You don't need to think about it to know that at this time, Nia and the others have appeared in the Goblin Chief's cave dwelling by traveling through the shadows. Soon, the sounds of fighting and roaring came from the Goblin Chief's cave. Who are you? Enemy attack, enemy attack. Many goblin guards ran out of the chief's cave dwelling, shouting loudly. Leuan looked at the other black figures and said solemnly, "It's your turn." As soon as he finished speaking, except for the giant shadow protecting Leuan, other ghosts and giant shadows appeared scattered at the bottom of the mountain and cave dwellings. In an instant, screams were heard from everywhere in the goblin cave. These goblins are not strong, and the black shadow is a natural assassin, and is a rampant existence in the dark night. Just the death of dozens of goblins threw the entire tribe into chaos. Leuan looked at it and shook his head. With such a ghostly appearance, he was still an army of the Goblin Kingdom back then. The killing continued, and blood flowers bloomed in the dark night. At this moment, an old goblin walked out of a cave dwelling, flew into the air, and muttered something. In his hand, he held a gray staff inlaid with the origin crystal. Fireballs shot out from the staff and headed towards the location of the giant black shadow. This is the rank 8 magician of the goblin tribe. The fireball was so powerful that even if the giant shadow was hit, it was directly burned into nothingness. Unfortunately, the next moment, the killed giant shadow appeared again in another place and continued to slaughter other goblins. The goblin magician was furious and yelled in midair, but nothing could be changed. Not long after, the sword light appeared. The goblin rank 8 magician was cut in half, and the 2 corpses fell from the air. Nia's figure appeared, reached out and threw a fat goblin to the bottom of the mountain. That is the chief of the goblin tribe. Although this chief is a rank 9 warrior, Nia is also a rank 9 warrior. Coupled with the cooperation of 2 rank 7 ghosts, it took less than 3 minutes to kill it successfully. With the addition of Nia and 2 rank 7 ghosts, the killing inside and outside the cave became even more intense, leaving the goblins with no room to fight back. As for Leuan, he played soy sauce throughout the whole process and had no chance to take action at all. Not a single goblin escaped from the Black Shadow's strangulation. In less than half an hour, all the goblins fell into a pool of blood. There were green and red slices, like a pot of cabbage stewed with blood. The goblin tribe, more than 1,800 people, were all killed. Leuan walked down the call with the protection of the giant shadow, and he couldn't help but sigh at the lethality of the Black Shadow army. Too strong. Although the goblin tribe was very weak, there were still nearly 2,000 in number, and in the end, only a dozen black shadows killed them all. Looking at the goblin corpses on the ground, Leuan's expression remained unchanged. Over the past few days, he had seen too many dead beasts, and he was almost immune to them. At the same time, Leuan did not have any psychological burden for killing thousands of goblins. If you think about it from his perspective, if the goblin is powerful now and fights his way into Black Shadow Castle, will the goblin show mercy to him? Will not. War continent, either you die or I live. Leuan expected to destroy the goblin tribe without any surprises. Putting aside their combat prowess, goblins are just the lowest level of intelligent creatures in War Continent. They're just a bunch of goblin appendages, nothing to be proud of. Under the brutal movement of several giant shadows, all the goblin corpses were thrown into the ravine. Leuan did not collect these corpses for the time being, but first asked the shadows to search all the cave dwellings to find useful supplies. In the goblin warehouse, 300 sets of leather armor and various swords and weapons were found, including 3 staffs inlaid with origin crystal, 438 energy stones, 15 origin crystals, and other things such as beast furs, teeth, and bones. Immediately afterwards, 200 energy stones and 5 origin crystals were found in the goblin chief's cave dwelling. There are dozens of energy stones scattered in other cave dwellings. As long as it was usable, Leuan let the giant shadow pass through the shadow space and moved them all back to the warehouse of the castle first. While the giant shadow was moving things, Leuan collected all the goblin corpses and obtained thousands of sets of equipment and weapons. After finishing everything, Leuan activated the dragon talisman, and fire dragons flew out of his hands. At this time, Leuan is already in the middle of rank 6. Killing nearly 2,000 goblins provided him and the shadow with a huge amount of energy. Not only did Leuan successfully break through the rank, but all the existing ghost shadows and giant shadows were promoted to rank 7. Only Nia is still rank 8. His promotion to rank 9 requires too much energy, at least millions of energy points. The fire dragon flew in the void, covering the entire mountain call in an instant, burning up the goblin tribe. At the same time, traces of Leuan's existence were also erased. Let's go. Leuan was carried by Nia, and all the shadows sank to the ground. When they reappeared, they were back outside the territory and heading towards the castle on foot. Now that the goblin tribe has been dealt with, Leuan certainly did not forget the promise of watching the night view. This is the first time Leuan has seen his castle from the outside. The entire castle is backed by Crimson Moon Forest. Although there are some small woods in front, they are really just bushes. Behind it is a vast expanse of giant trees, stretching for tens of thousands of miles. Crimson Moon Forest is very large, and the territory of more than 1,000 meters occupied by the castle is just the outer periphery. Unfortunately, it was dark now, so I could only see a vague outline. Leuan walked toward the castle without saying a word, but he felt an unprecedented sense of pride in his heart. When he first came to this world, his original intention was to survive. First there is the imminent attack of the beast tide, and then there is the potential threat of the sacred domain monster. All these are telling Leuan, you have to get stronger quickly, otherwise there will only be a dead end waiting for you. Over the past few days, Leuan has been working hard for this. His whole body is tense and he dare not slack off every minute. Unknowingly, from being alone to now, he has dared to take the initiative and wiped out the local goblin forces with ease. He and his shadow have risen to incredible levels in just a few days. To be honest, the pressure from the beast tide on him is nothing now. Even that sacred domain black-crested golden eagle, if Leuan saw it again, he would not be as shocked as before. All races are fighting for hegemony, then let's fight for hegemony. The destruction of the goblin tribe and the bloody and ruthless killing caused subtle changes in Leuan's mood. He truly recognized the rules of the game of competing for hegemony among all races. From now on, his goal is to lead the shadows to stand at the top of the world. He wants to build his own kingdom, the kingdom of shadows. At this moment, something called ambition sprouted deep in Leuan's heart, that is the heart of a king. I come, I see, I conquer. Wherever you look, the place where the black shadow stands is regarded as royal land. When the group returned to the castle, Nia took the initiative to go out to kill monsters without Leuan's instructions, and the other ghosts and shadows were not far behind. Leuan walked into the Holy Source Tower and began to count the harvest from killing the goblin tribe tonight. The most important energy stone, this is Leuan's primary goal. 712 in total. Obviously, in addition to the 500 energy stones exploded from the fellow's castle, the goblin tribe also has its own storage. Energy stone itself is a solid body of energy condensed. For local forces, they can use energy stone to enhance their strength. In fact, Leuan and the others can do it, but they just can't. Origin crystal, including the one Leuan took off the staff, 24. The other thing is to equip weapons. Rank 1 leather armor weapons, 823 sets, rank 2 leather armor weapons, 454 sets. Rank 3 leather armor weapons, 208 sets. In addition, there are 10 sets of rank 4 iron armor and 1 set of rank 5 silver armor. Leuan didn't count the fur, teeth and bones that the giant shadows brought back, but there were a lot of them. There is no doubt that this is another great harvest. In terms of value alone, the gains brought by the goblins to Leuan may be more than those gained by Black Shadow's 4 days of killing monsters in the wild. Looking at these things displayed in the warehouse, Leuan smiled unconsciously. After building the Holy Source Tower, Leuan had almost given up on upgrading the town, and was only going to try his best to upgrade the Black Shadow Crystal. But looking at it now, there is still hope for upgrading towns and barracks. Today, in the warehouse of Black Shadow Castle, there are a total of 1,013 energy stones and 34 origin crystals. To upgrade Black Shadow Crystal, energy stone is enough, only 16 origin crystals are needed. Now Nia is mainly killing monsters of rank 7 and 8, and the explosion rate of origin crystal is already good. he should be able to get the origin crystal by tomorrow night at the latest. In other words, upgrading to level 3 Black Shadow Crystal is already a certainty. Then the next focus is to collect the materials needed to upgrade the castle and the town. The existing stone and wood in the warehouse have not changed much, with 13,000 units of stone and 36,000 units of wood. 840 units of iron essence. At dusk, the little fairy turned over more than 700 units of iron spirits. It is said that more than 200 dwarves have entered the fairy castle and started working at noon, so there are more iron spirits. In the future, if the people are smelting all over the sky, it can provide him with 900 units of iron essence a day. However, with 900 units per day, it would not be possible to gather 10,000 units of iron elves before the beast tide comes in 3 days. Therefore, you have to go to the exchange square to redeem. Leuan opened the trading square and searched for some trading information using iron essence as the keyword. It's still the same as before, the transaction volume is very bleak, and few people come out to exchange for latte essence. However, there is still no record of the exchange of weapons and equipment, only the previous auction by Leuan. After all, not everyone is like Leuan's shadow and does not need weapons and equipment. Even if an overlord defeated the local forces and obtained a small amount of equipment, he would not be willing to sell it. Leuan re-examined the price of the equipment. The standard price of rank 1 equipment is 1,000 units of wood and 500 units of stone. The standard price for rank 2 is doubled, and so on. Leuan made a rough estimate and put all rank 1 rank 2 weapons and equipment up for auction. There are nearly 1,300 sets of leather armor equipment, which should be enough to replace stone and wood. Use rank 1 rank 2 weapons first to turn up the heat. Not surprisingly, after Leuan posted the auction information on the trading square, it quickly caused an uproar in the world chat channel. My eyes are blind, my eyes are blind. The mysterious Black Shadow boss appears again, armed with more than 1,000 pieces of equipment. Axie, are you massacring a native tribe? Be confident and get rid of it. The Black Shadow boss must have followed the clues and wiped out the Goblin tribe last time. Let's just say that the Black Shadow didn't spend much food today. It turned out that he went to fight against the local forces. Nah, there are more than 1,000 pieces of equipment. How many local forces will be killed? It must be a goblin. The Black Shadow boss seemed to have killed the goblin last time. It's so awesome. Ask who can slaughter a native tribe, only Black Shadow boss. Hey, it seems like there is rank 2 equipment this time. Rank 2 is not that good. All my troops are rank 4, so it's useless. A man who is full does not know that a man who is hungry is hungry. Hey, Black Shadow boss is awesome. This time Black Shadow boss only changes stone and wood, so I can change some, but I can't upgrade the castle anyway. What you said above is right, the weapons are not of high quality, but they are better than nothing. In the bustling world channel, many people were sighing and running to the exchange square one after another. Stone and wood are definitely in short supply for everyone, necessities for upgrading the castle. But now there are only 3 days left before the beast tide hits. After most people upgrade their castle to middle level, high level is hopeless. Rather than rotting stones and wood in your hands, it is better to take them out and replace them with weapons and equipment to cope with the impact of the next wave of beasts. Similarly, Leuan's move once again attracted the attention of overlords who have powerful units. Everyone thought the previous sets of equipment were nothing. But now, more than 1,000 sets of weapons and equipment shocked them. It is now the 4th day of the Reincarnation War continent. Those overlords with powerful troops have basically had contact with local forces. They have a better understanding of the strength of the local forces and the combat effectiveness of those local forces. There are more than 1,000 sets of equipment, which means that this local force has at least thousands of them. In a tribe like this, there are many powerful rank 7 and rank 8 warriors, and it is very possible that they may even have rank 9 in charge. But now, they only have a dozen arms at most. More than a dozen soldiers slaughtered a native tribe of thousands of people. How could this not shock them? Tagan Great Plains, Angel Castle. Yi Shui was lying on the bench in the castle, her little mouth slightly open, and her pretty face was full of disbelief. How can it be? Last night, the goblin tribe she discovered had 2 teams ambushing her angel team halfway. Although the angel team showed its strength and wiped out all the opponents, the angels were also seriously injured. And these two teams only consisted of 15 goblins. According to Yi Shui's estimation, the strength of her angel team is capable of fighting at most 30 goblins. Any more and the angel squad will collapse and cause casualties. But now, this shadow overlord has actually slaughtered a tribe of goblins. Yi Shui has always been very confident, very confident. But at this moment, she suddenly doubted herself. Can she really catch up with this black shadow overlord? No, it must be possible. Yi Shui quickly erased this thought, clenched her fist and said, Yi Shui, you can do it, your soldiers are the supreme angels. Endless Sea, Golden Castle. The young man in white led the golden dragon and slaughtered a fishman tribe today, and gained a lot. But when I saw the content in the World Chat channel, I immediately felt unsatisfied. Because there are only 200 people in this fishman tribe, and the strongest one is only rank 7. What a shadow overlord, I underestimate you. The young man in white glanced at the golden dragon guarding the edge of the castle, frowned and said, what kind of army are you? In his opinion, the golden dragon is already one of the best troops in War Continent. Dragon race is supreme and powerful. What other arms can compare with the golden dragon? In the 7 continents of War Continent, countless overlords are marveling and wondering what kind of arms this black shadow overlord has. Although they don't admit it in their hearts, Leuan is indeed ahead of them. There were discussions about himself, and Leuan also saw those information records this time. Some are flattering, some are jealous, some are discussing equipment and weapons, some are speculating on his military type, there are all kinds of them. Of course, what Leuan is most concerned about is the auction situation of weapons and equipment. Unfortunately, the World Chat channel was busy, but not many people were bidding on weapons and equipment. It wasn't obvious that the quantity at the last auction was small, but when the quantity increased, there really weren't many bids. It's been half an hour, and there are only a few hundred people bidding. From the looks of it, everyone is indeed not very interested in these low-level equipment. The auction time set by Leuan is 2 hours, and it is basically impossible to finish the auction at this rate. It's night now, maybe everyone is sleeping. Leuan gave himself a reason, and then silently changed the auction time to 24 hours. As long as someone takes the photo, the worst thing is waiting. Anyway, there is no need to worry about stone and wood. The key point is Tai Jing, which makes Leuan worried. Rank 1 Rank 2 weapons and equipment rarely come to the auction, who would be willing to take out the Iron Spirit? We'll see what happens tomorrow. If it doesn't work, we'll think of other ways, or we'll just give up on upgrading the town. Leuan was not a troubled person, so he immediately closed the trading square and left the Holy Source Tower. It's almost past 12 o'clock, and it's time to recruit new shadows. Just when Leuan was preparing to recruit new black shadows, outside the swamp to the west of the castle, the destroyed goblin tribe was located. 3 2-meter-tall giants were standing where Leuan and the others were before, looking at the devastated goblin cave dwelling. They're all dead, not a single person left alive. If my guess is correct, this should have been done by the alien visitors from Crimson Moon Forest, right? How cruel. Probably, the other visitors from other worlds around here don't have this strength. There is news from the top of the mountains. It's not just us. There are many visitors from other worlds in the 7 continents. What are the origins of these visitors from another world? The top of the mountains didn't say much. They just asked not to provoke them for the time being. It seems that their castle is now protected by an inexplicable force. But what if they come to provoke us? Nonsense, of course we have to kill them. We are not lowly creatures like goblins. The visitors from other worlds seem to be all humans. Do you want to eat it? I want to try it. I don't know when I will be able to return to the top of the mountains. This Crimson Moon Forest has been here for 200 years. I've really had enough. Hurry, hurry. The 3 strong men chatted with each other, and finally turned into 3 huge black wolves and disappeared into the night. Leuan naturally has no idea about the situation here. After waiting under the black shadow crystal for about 10 minutes, he finally saw the cute prompt box. The barracks has been charged. Do you want to recruit immediately? Closing square bracket. Leuan stared at black shadow crystal and said, recruit immediately. The next moment, the 9 crystals began to rotate slowly and quickly, and 5 shadows flowed out of them. The first thing to step out of the shadows was a ghost. Then 3 more giant figures came out of the shadows, and the last one came out, a tall figure with blue skin and armor. Seeing this, Leuan suddenly lost all sleepiness and was overjoyed. Leuan failed to recruit General the previous 2 times, and he didn't have much hope this time. He didn't even think about it, he just thought about recruiting the new day's shadows and then go to sleep. The surprise came when the dark figure appeared at the end. It turned out to be one of the 9 generals of the Black Shadow, the general who commands the helmeted shadow, Eeka. He has blue skin, wears dark gray armor, and is tall and mighty. General Eeka walked out of the shadows and knelt down directly towards Leuan, his armor clashing with an iron clang. The last general, Eeka, pays homage to my king. The sound is like a big Honglu bell, full of energy. Leuan raised his hand with a smile and said, "Get up, General Eeka, no need to be polite." To be honest, he really didn't expect to be able to recruit a Black Shadow general tonight. Eeka is in charge of the Helmet Shadow Corps, also commonly known as the Martial Warriors. Leuan has not summoned Helmet Shadows recently, they have all been Ghost Shadows and Giant Shadows, but now he has directly recruited the Helmet Shadow Corps general. After the surprise, Leuan also called up Eeka's information panel. Helmet Shadow Corps Generala A Eeka. Strength level. Rank 7 can be improved by killing enemies. Loyalty. 100 A. Closing square bracket. Growth limit. Divine Realm. When recruiting Nia, Black Shadow Crystal is only level 1, and Nia's initial strength is rank 5. Now Black Shadow Crystal is level 2, and Eeka is rank 7 when it comes out. Compared with the current Nia, it is only rank 1 behind. As for the other ghosts and giant shadows, the initial level is still rank 4. Leuan looked at Eeka and said, "Go out and kill the monsters and improve your strength as soon as possible. There are still 3 days before the beast tide comes. Eeka can at least be promoted to rank 8, and rank 9 is not without hope. If both Nia and Eeka advance to rank 9 by then he will have 2 sacred domain combat capabilities. And with the blessing of the Holy Source Tower, the territory can be even stronger than the sacred domain, rank 1. I will definitely live up to my king's expectations." Eeka stood up abruptly and sank directly into the ground. Immediately, Leuan summoned the ghosts and giant shadows who had gone out, and grouped them with the 4 newly recruited Black Shadows. The Ghost Shadow and the Giant Shadow broke into groups to spawn monsters, and left the castle again with their new recruits. The previous Ghost Shadow and Giant Shadow were all promoted to rank 7 after massacring the Goblin tribe. It may be difficult to improve them again in the near future. They are not like Nia and Eeka, who can kill monsters across levels and obtain high amounts of energy. After the groups are disrupted, the previously recruited Ghost Shadows can better improve their levels with the newly recruited Shadows. As far as the current situation is concerned, the focus is still on Nia and Eeka. For the rest of the shadows, it doesn't matter if their strength is slightly lower. Furthermore, ordinary beasts still have to be killed. After all, the little fairies have a huge demand for food. After taking care of the newly recruited shadow, Leuan returned to the bed in the Holy Source Tower, thinking about what he would do in the next 3 days. It would be a waste of time just to let Black Shadow and the others spawn monsters. You can't even brush out the Iron Spirit. How about we just upgrade the towns and barracks, or upgrade Nia and Eeka to rank 9 first? Even if the towns and barracks don't upgrade, it's not a bad thing for me if the Shadow's strength increases. Now, Sacred Domain's combat power is the most important. Yes, you should concentrate on one thing. It's a pity that the strength is not enough now. Otherwise, we can wipe out the werewolf tribe, and maybe we can directly promote Nia to rank 9. Obviously, killing the Goblin tribe gave Leuan a taste of the sweetness. Not only does the werewolf tribe have semi-saint, but there are also 2 rank 9s. If you go now, it will be difficult to defeat them. After thinking about it, Leuan slowly fell asleep. The next morning, Leuan failed to sleep until he woke up naturally. He was awakened by a majestic sound. "Hello Overlords. Closing square bracket. Ida's time to remind you that there are only 3 days left before the first level beast wave. Closing square bracket. Can your castle and your troops survive the impact of the beast tide? Closing square bracket. Leuan opened his eyes, rolled over and jumped out of bed, quickly came to the courtyard of the castle, and looked up at the sky. This is the voice that spoke when I was first reincarnated. At this moment, countless overlords all over War Continent, like Leuan, looked up into the void. But there is nothing strange about the local forces. This voice can only be heard by the 3 billion overlords reincarnated in War Continent. 3 days later, the attack of Beast Tide comes. Closing square bracket. The overlord who resists the attack of the Beast Tide will receive generous rewards based on his performance during the attack of the Beast Tide. Closing square bracket. Only available to the top 1 million overlords by overall performance. Closing square bracket. The overlord who ranks first in overall performance will receive unique and special rewards. Closing square bracket. Overlords, go kill as much as you like. Closing square bracket. Don't stick to the castle, fight out to get more. Closing square bracket. With danger comes gain. Closing square bracket. Hearing these words, Leuan couldn't help but frown. This is becoming more and more like a game, and these so-called rewards are almost the same as official activities in the game. But Leuan could feel that his castle, his own troops, and the wild beasts and local forces from the outside world all existed. Is it really a game? If it's really a game, wo's in charge? Thinking of this, Leuan laughed to himself. It is too unrealistic to think of these now. Even if there is someone behind all this, he can reincarnate 3 billion people on Earth and create such a scene. Is it something he can fight against now? There is a saying that goes well, life is like a circle, if you can't resist, then enjoy it. Perhaps in the distant future, when he is powerful enough to stand at the top of the world, he might be able to discover the truth of all this. Now, it's better to consider this Beast Tide reward. The top 1 million overlords in the overall ranking will all receive rewards. The overlord who ranks first overall will receive a unique reward. Ranking based on what? 1 million overlords may seem like a lot, but compared to 3 billion overlords, it's really not that much, with a probability of 3 out of 10,000. Out of 10,000 overlords, 3 people may receive rewards. Of course, after the attack of the Beast Tide, it is unknown how many 3 billion overlords will be left. Maybe now, there are no more 3 billion overlords. There are too many people, and there are always a few guys with brains in their butts, like the poor fellow who was killed by the goblins. I should be fine if I rank in the top 1 million. Can I compete for the first place? Leuan is not so arrogant that he really thinks that he is the best among all overlords. There are 3 billion people on Earth, and there is no guarantee that there is no one with better luck than him. There are people outside the world. Maybe someone can recruit a god directly, and the god will work for him at the beginning. Besides, this comprehensive performance should not only be in terms of combat power, but also factors such as castle barracks and so on. Ranking in the top 1 million, Leuan feels that it should not be a problem for him. The key point is whether we can win the first place. This is considered the first official event, and its special rewards are obviously not ordinary rewards. Just like rich people will get richer and richer. After receiving this reward, the gap between him and other overlords will inevitably widen infinitely. Not to mention those overlords who are millions of people later. It is almost impossible for these overlords to develop in the future. The only fate is to become cannon fodder. Originally, Leuan was planning to give up on upgrading the town temporarily. But now the appearance of this special reward made him restart this idea for a while. Castles, barracks, and military units are available to resist the impact of the Beast Tide. These items will obviously be important factors in overall performance. It seems that we still need motivation. Leuan smiled and shook his head, but his eyes flashed with determination. He has always been a man of action, and will definitely do what he has determined. Since you want to be the first, you will do your best to fight for it. Go all out. After a night of spawning monsters, the shadows brought back a lot of corpses of beasts and monsters. Collection completed, more than 5,000 units of food and 18 energy stones. What surprised Leuan was that there were 2 origin crystals in this collection. Leuan was in a good mood and handed all the food to the little fairy overlord. With those weapons and equipment, there is no need for him to continue to trade food, although there is still a market for food. But the price has already fallen, by half. 1 unit of food can only be exchanged for 5 units of wood and 2 units of stone. After finishing this, Leuan went to the warehouse to get food to make breakfast for himself. Leuan ate breakfast and opened the World Chat channel. Due to the appearance of the previous voice, the World Chat channel was still having a lively discussion about this. 1,000,000 Overlord can win a prize, go for it, brothers. The first thing is not to think about it, but we can still give it a try for the first 1,000,000. Fight, I will go out and kill monsters myself today. After 3 days, it's time for me to change my fate against the will of heaven. Hey, come on, my slime is almost eaten by the wild monsters outside. I'm dead. By the way, what will be the reward for first place? It's none of your business. Just eat carrots and don't worry about it. Brothers, don't abandon, don't give up, keep working. Everyone is so busy, there are only 3 days left, and you are still here chatting and spanking, you jerk. If you want to take first place, can Black Shadow Boss do it? Who knows, maybe some big guys have upgraded quietly and never showed up. That's right, forget it, let's get to work. Chatting like this never stopped, and countless overlords were agitated by it. Leuan flipped through it casually, without looking at it more, but opened the trading square. Hey, there are more and more people bidding. Last night, there were not many bids for the goblin weapons and equipment that were listed at the auction. And now, not only there are more people bidding, but they are still growing. Leuan thought for a while and roughly guessed the reason. It was that sound in the morning. Its appearance made these overlords unable to calm down. Regardless of whether it is a beast tide or a beast tide reward, the only way is to get stronger and stronger. In 3 days, they had to do everything possible to improve them and ensure that they survived the beast tide. At the same time, we need to make their performance better. In 3 days, there's a lot more you can do and take risks. It is undoubtedly a good choice to let your own troops have weapons. They were reluctant to part with wood and stone before, but now they have to part with it. Only by giving up can they gain something. Time soon came to evening. Including the 2 generals Nia and Eeka, there were a total of 19 black shadows in the crazy killing, and the yard was once again filled with the corpses of beasts and monsters. After all, Black Shadow's strength has improved, and the levels of the monsters he hunts are getting higher and higher. Therefore, what Leuan collects is naturally getting better and better. Especially Energy Stone and Origin Crystal. He harvested 32 Energy Stones and 3 Origin Crystals respectively. Since then, Leuan has owned 1,163 Energy Stones and 36 Origin Crystals. Upgrading Black Shadow Crystal and Energy Stone is already enough. As of now, there are still 14 Origin Crystals left, and the upgrade to Black Shadow Crystal is just around the corner. At the same time, after killing for most of the day, the newly recruited Giant Shadows and Ghost Shadows also improved their levels and were promoted to rank 5. Eeka General is still rank 7, but it is not far away from rank 8. The shadows went out again, but not long after, Nia and Eeka returned to the castle at the same time. In the Holy Source Tower, Leuan asked unexpectedly, "What's wrong?" "My king, we discovered a swarm of lizards." General Eeka bowed and replied, "This group of lizards is a mutant species with dragon race bloodline." "Is it very strong?" Leuan asked doubtfully. Nia and the others basically killed whatever monsters they found, and rarely came back to explain to him. Nia nodded and said, "It's not that they are very strong, it's just that they are in Crimson Moon Forest. Moreover, they are located relatively inside." Hearing this, Leuan frowned. Nia has been killing monsters in Crimson Moon Forest before, but he didn't dare to go deep. Most of the time, they are within a kilometer range outside the territory, because there are many rank 9 monsters within a kilometer. Even rank 9 elite monsters are not much weaker than Sacred Domain. Although Nia is not afraid of death, it is a complete waste of time if he cannot kill the opponent after death. So Leuan also ordered him not to enter the depths of Crimson Moon Forest. Leuan looked at Nia and asked, "Do you want to join forces to kill these mutant lizards?" "Yes," General Eeka replied. Leuan thought for a while and said, "What's the reason?" Nia clasped his fists and said, "The king received 4 origin crystals today, 3 of which came from this group of lizards. And we only killed 5. Tell me what's going on." Leuan suddenly became interested. There were too many monster corpses, and Leuan naturally did not have the time to identify all the monster corpses. Recently, he has been collecting them directly without even looking at them. He really has no impression of the corpses of lizard-like monsters. 5 mutant lizards exploded 3 origin crystals. This explosion rate is unimaginably high. Nia quickly told what happened. This afternoon, Nia and Eeka were separated, but they were both killing monsters outside Crimson Moon Forest. Coincidentally, the two met together and happened to encounter this group of lizards, and each killed a few lizards. They killed a total of 5 mutant lizards, and 3 of them were collected by Leuan to obtain the origin crystal. When Leuan collected the corpses, as the beheaders, they could sense it. Leuan needs the origin crystal, and they know it. So Nia and Eeka paid attention to the mutated lizards. After discussion, they came back to Leuan to explain the situation. Chapter 31. The 3 to 5 explosion rate is as high as 60%. Moreover, the most explosive thing is origin crystal. However, this group of lizards are still very powerful. According to Nia and the others, the strongest mutant lizards among them are rank 9 elites. Elite rank 9, close to sacred domain, even semi-saint. In addition to this rank 9 elite lizard, there are 2 rank 9 lizards and 5 rank 8 lizards. The total number is not too much, about 50 in total. With such strength, Leuan couldn't help but think of the werewolf tribe in the north. The werewolf tribe also has a semi-saint, as well as a rank 9 warrior and a rank 9 magician. Warcraft is also intelligent. Therefore, in terms of high-end strength, this lizard group is not much worse than the werewolf tribe. Leuan was silent for a while and then asked, "Can you join forces to kill all the lizards? If Eeka can advance halfway, that'll be no problem." Nia glanced at Eeka and said, "Eeka is about to advance to rank 8. Leuan set his sights on Eeka, and sure enough he felt the fluctuations at the peak of rank 7 from him. Eeka of rank 8 can also compete with rank 9. It seems that these two guys want to raid the lizard group, kill a few lizards first to let Eeka advance, and then wipe out the lizard group in one fell swoop. Now that you have a plan, let's go." Leuan agreed with the two generals' ideas and was also looking forward to the attack plan. If the explosion rate can really be 60%, then this group of lizards can provide him with enough origin crystal to upgrade the barracks. Of course, the premise is that Nia and the others can succeed. In addition to the possible gains, Leuan also wanted to use this as a practice for raiding the werewolf tribe. After all, in terms of high-end strength, the mutant lizard group is almost the same as the werewolf tribe. If Nia and Eeka can successfully deal with the lizard group, then add other giant ghosts. Maybe we can go to the werewolf tribe. At night, the weapons and equipment that Leuan hung at the auction house arrived within 24 hours. I have to say that this time I really took advantage of the beast-tide rewards, and all the weapons and equipment were photographed. It's a pity that the auction price is not too high. I can only say that it is okay. For that equipment, a total of 380,000 units of stone and 860,000 units of wood were obtained. With such a large amount of stone and wood, Leuan is probably the overlord with the largest amount of these two resources. This one auction alone is enough to upgrade Black Shadow Castle to a town. This was to Leuan's expectation. Stone and wood were not in his demand range at all. The focus was still on iron essence. The little fairy Mo Shanshan transferred nearly 1,000 units of iron spirits to him at night. In the past 2 days, she transferred 2,000 units of iron essence to Leuan, a total of 2,180 units. It is still 4/5 short of the 10,000 iron spirits. Thinking of the many stones and wood he had, Leuan couldn't help but open the little fairy's chat box. "Leuan, come out." The little fairy replied instantly, "What is the order from the Black Shadow?" "Leuan, your castle is now at middle level. If it is upgraded to high level, can your refined iron production be increased?" "Fairy Overlord, does Sombra want me to upgrade my castle to high level?" "Leuan, read the question and answer the question." "Fairy Overlord, the shadow is huge, it seems impossible. The furnace is a separate building, and castle upgrades will not affect the output of the furnace." Seeing the little fairy's answer, Leuan couldn't help but think of his own Holy Source Tower. The Holy Source Tower itself is a saint-level building, and it does not seem to have much to do with the level of the castle. But at this moment, the little fairy replied again. Fairy Overlord, the shadow is huge. It seems that my furnace is a growing building. I can increase the building level of the furnace. Fairy Overlord, it's just that my furnace is a high-level building. If I want to upgrade it to saint level, it requires a lot of resources. Seeing this, Leuan quickly asked, what do you need? Fairy Overlord, 300,000 units of stone, 500,000 units of wood, and 100 energy stones. Leuan, saint level furnace, how much can the output increase? Fairy Overlord, it seems to be doubled. The next moment, the little fairy was stunned. In her warehouse, there were instantly 300,000 units of stone, 500,000 units of wood, and 100 energy stones. Little Fairy Overlord, Big Black Shadow, you. Leuan, upgrade the furnace quickly, and also upgrade your castle to high level. Afterwards, he transferred another batch of stone and wood to the little Fairy Overlord. Now he has too much stone and wood, and he can't use that much to upgrade the town. Although it can be saved for later use, the current resources must be transformed to maximize benefits. There is no doubt that this batch of wood is the best for the little fairy. There is nothing wrong with upgrading the high-level castle. At most, it can enhance the defense of the fairy castle. But if the furnace is upgraded, the benefits will be higher. Saint-level furnace, production doubled. Now the little fairy can provide him with nearly 1,000 units of iron essence every day. If it is doubled, it will be 2,000. Amo Gobi, Little Fairy Castle. In the bedroom, Mo Shanshan was standing on the bed with a look of disbelief on his face. Hundreds of thousands of units of stone and wood arrived instantly, which made her feel a little unreal, but it just happened. It was also Mo Shanshan who hadn't visited the exchange square recently, otherwise he would have been mentally prepared. The furnace is high level. Mo Shanshan has not thought about upgrading to saint level in a short time. She will not get so many resources at all. She just followed Leuan's words, but she never expected that Leuan actually gave her hundreds of thousands of units of supplies. By the way, let her upgrade the castle to high level. It was so incredible that Mo Shanshan didn't know how to describe his mood at this time. Deep down, she felt extremely happy that she had decided to become Leuan's territory. However, Mo Shanshan is also self-aware. Nothing in the world is good without reason. The reason why Leuan was so devoted to her was not because of her as a person, but because of the melting pot. It's the iron essence Leuan needs. Of course, this is where Mo Shanshan's value lies. Mo Shanshan jumped out of bed and replied to Leuan, the shadow is huge, I will definitely work hard. Not saying too much nonsense, just showing an attitude. Leuan, well, come on. By the way, can your dwarves still increase their numbers? Don't be afraid, the more the merrier. Mo Shanshan, I understand, the shadow is huge, I will let Uncle Green pay attention. It also improved her furnace and allowed her to summon more dwarves. Obviously, the main city wants a lot of iron spirits, lots and lots of iron spirits. On the other side, Leuan also closed the chat window with Mo Shanshan, with a smile on his face. Tai Jing, there are absolutely unlimited business opportunities in the future. What he is looking at is no longer the present, but the future. Leuan reopened the trading square and held an auction of weapons and equipment again. Rank 3 leather armor weapons, 208 sets, starting price, 100 units of iron essence. 10 sets of rank 4 armor, starting price, 200 units of iron essence. A set of rank 5 silver armor, starting price, 500 units of iron essence. Nowadays, the trading volume of iron essence in the trading square has not been increased. However, Leuan did not believe in the huge war continent, and only Mo Shanshan got the furnace. Maybe some people, like Leuan, also value this business opportunity. After all overlords who want to upgrade their towns need iron spirits. Nowadays, most of our castles are middle level, high level, and even some low level. Of course, it is useless to take them out now. But as everyone upgrades to high level, who doesn't want iron spirits? Also, there are very few things hanging out in the trading square that are worth exchanging iron essence for. Besides Origin Crystal, who else is worth as much as iron spirit? It is precisely because of this that Taijing's trading volume is not good. Even the transactions are only a few units. The equipment and weapons Leuan took out now were no lower than the previous ones. The lowest is rank 3, the highest is rank 5, not only leather armor, but also iron armor and silver armor. Compared with those rank 1 armors, the value of these armors is obviously much higher. Before, everyone looked down upon rank 1 equipment. It was everyone's unit, and their initial strength was rank 1. Rank 1 strength coupled with rank 2 equipment is just the icing on the cake. But now the equipment from rank 3 to rank 5 is different, it can significantly improve the attack power and defense power of their units. Without him, no one's troops are the same as Leuan's apex level troops. In the past few days, they have been promoted to rank 6, rank 7. Nowadays, 99% of overlords in War Continent only have rank 3, and rank 5 would be the best. If they can have these equipment, their strength will be greatly increased. Leuan directly chose to trade with iron spirits, just to let those overlords who own iron spirits emerge. Overlords with powerful units may not take action, but those with weaker units will definitely take action. First remove the iron essence from the hands of these people, and the market will belong to Leuan. Not only the iron essence market, but also the weapons and equipment market. Why does he strongly support Mo Shanshan's little fairy overlord? Apart from the current urgent need for iron spirits, it's weapons and equipment. The little fairy had said before that her dwarf was building a weapon refining shop and would be able to refine weapons in the future. This is also an extremely broad market. Even though everyone's demand for weapons and equipment is not so obvious now, it will become apparent in the future. You have recruited tens of thousands of soldiers, why don't you give them weapons? Leuan's thinking is very clear. Since he has decided to compete for hegemony, he must be prepared for all routes. Personal strength is one thing, and these auxiliary means cannot be left behind. As soon as the weapons and equipment rank 3 and above appeared, as expected, the world chat channel once again became noisy. Especially the previous warm-up of more than 1,000 weapons and equipment directly caused a sensation. Wu Sao, rank 5 equipment. Am I reading that right? From a distance, I saw a Tauren wearing silver armor. That was a rank 8 local boss. Needless to say, Black Shadow boss really slaughtered a tribe of goblins. Yes, this rank 5 armor can only be worn by tribe bosses and the like. Haha, that's because you have never seen a truly powerful local force. Rank 5 armor, in the eyes of those beings, is a hot chick. You sound like you are awesome. Do you have rank 5 armor? Yes, let's talk about this again. The Black Shadow boss's trading item this time is the Iron Spirit. It seems that the only thing missing is the Iron Spirit. It's time to upgrade the town. For those rank 1 rank 2 weapons and equipment in front, how much stone and wood do you think Black Shadow boss replaced? Hundreds of thousands. Stone and wood are hundreds of thousands. If it weren't for the Iron Spirit, it would be able to upgrade several towns. Haiying, please take pity on me. I am only a junior castle. Please give me some stone and wood to upgrade. I will work like a horse with you. These cheerful ones are basically weak overlords. Those who truly have powerful military units will brag and beat anyone who has nothing to do. This is why Leuan rarely comes to the chat channel. At this time, Leuan has been staring at his auction information on the trading square. After spreading on the world chat channel, the auction listed by Leuan has already begun to move. The first one to be bid was the rank 5 silver armor. Of course, it was just the base price Leuan put up, 500 units of iron essence. Leuan took a look and saw that the bidder was a man named Overlord, who had a very arrogant name. Judging from the name, you can't tell what kind of military unit the other party is recruiting. After a few minutes, the rank 5 silver armor did not move, and rank 3 and rank 4 began to receive bids one after another. Sure enough, everyone is hiding the good things. Leuan smiled and stopped paying attention. The auction time he set was 18 hours, and the results would be available at noon tomorrow at the latest. Maybe tomorrow he will be able to gather all the iron spirits he needs to upgrade the castle. As night falls, in Crimson Moon Forest, the roaring sounds of monsters continue to echo in the void. In these 5 days, at least 2,000 beasts and monsters died in the hands of the Black Shadow. But now when I go out, I can still see beasts and monsters everywhere, which shows that there are not many beasts and monsters near Crimson Moon Forest. Leuan walked out of the Holy Source Tower and recalled a rank 7 ghost. At the same time, Nia and Eeka also returned to the castle and appeared in front of Leuan. Leuan glanced at Nia and asked, "How is the situation?" Nia bowed and replied, "Eeka and I have almost killed the monsters near the mutated lizard group. They didn't notice and are still in place. We also arranged other black shadow giants on the periphery to block other monsters." Quote, "Very good, let's go." Leuan lifted his legs and walked out. "That's right, Leuan is going out tonight and will follow Nia to kill those mutant lizards." This was Leuan's sudden decision in the afternoon. Now there are only 2 days left before the beast tide attacks. When the time comes, Leuan will definitely take action in the beast tide, and there is no way he can just watch from the side. After all, the number of arms is not enough, and every extra strength is a strength. His strength is not weak, he is already rank 6, and with the addition of Dragon Talisman, Horse Talisman, and Thunder and Lightning Demonic Energy, his combat power should not be weaker than rank 7. But what he lacks is actual combat ability, so Leuan will go out one after another in the past 2 days to enhance his actual combat ability. Eeka hesitated for a moment and then said, "Your Majesty, the mutant lizard group is close to the Crimson Moon Forest. Rank 9 monsters often appear. We are not sure whether rank 9 monsters will suddenly break in. Once there are rank 9 monsters breaking in, other ghosts and giant shadows cannot stop you. If you really want to improve your actual combat capabilities, you can ask the ghosts and others to take you to the outside. There is no need to persuade Eeka, the matter decided by my king will not be changed easily." The person who interrupted Eeka was General Nia. When Leuan went to the goblin tribe with him before, he had tried to persuade Leuan, but to no avail. "It's okay. If I lose, I will retreat. Actual combat is actual combat, life still comes first." Leuan glanced at the ghost of rank 7 that he recalled, and the ghost blended into his shadow. Seeing this, Eeka said no more, looked at Nia, came to Leuan's side, and took him directly to Crimson Moon Forest. Crimson Moon Forest is vast and stretches for tens of thousands of miles. Black Shadow Castle is on the edge of the forest, and its territory only extends to Crimson Moon Forest for a little over a kilometer. Under the night, it was so dark that almost nothing could be seen. In addition to trees, there are trees with a diameter of several meters. Leuan is now rank 6, so his night vision ability is not a problem. Nia and Eeka took Leuan through the shadows, and they appeared at the junction of the territories. There is still some distance between this place and the mutant lizard group, but the high-level monsters are intelligent, so they did not appear directly. After all, this time they were also making a surprise attack, not a head-on confrontation. They need to approach slowly so as not to attract the attention of the mutant lizards. Otherwise, if there are more than 50 high-level monsters, all of which are at least rank 6 or above, if they come together, Nia, a rank 9, will not be able to withstand them. Originally, Nia and Eeka's plan was to lure out a few mutated lizards first, with Nia swiping around and allowing Eeka to kill them and upgrade them. After they both reached rank 8, except for the elite rank 9, all other mutated lizards were ignored by them. But now that Leuan is here, the plan has changed slightly. However, there are not many changes, except that they are now divided into 2 groups, one with Leuan and Nia, and the other with Eeka, fighting both sides. Since the surrounding magical beasts have been cleared, there are currently no magical beasts coming out. Slowly, Leuan and the others came to a place where a fallen tree had collapsed. At the same time, a stench filled the air, mixed with a hint of toxicity. If ordinary people inhale it, they will die. Fortunately, Leuan is not an ordinary person, so this poisonous gas is not a big problem for him. Even if there is that little damage, it cannot keep up with the expulsion speed of the Horse Talisman. "Your Majesty, there is a puddle ahead. The lizards are there. You wait here." Nia glanced ahead and said to Eeka, "Action." As soon as the words fell, the 2 of them melted into the shadows, leaving only Leuan alone in the same place, and the ghost hidden under his feet. Leuan looked around and focused on the puddle ahead pointed by Nia. The view is not very clear, mainly because there are too many huge trees blocking the view. But faintly, Li Yuan saw a lot of green fluorescence, which should be his eyes under the moonlight reflection. Many, densely packed. At the same time, Li Yuan also felt a compelling aura from a distance, which was very strong. This should be the elite rank 9 lizard. Compared with the black-crested golden eagle that Li Yuan had seen, it was still much inferior, so this elite rank 9 was not as good as the sacred domain. Sure enough, it's just semi-saint. But Li Yuan knew very well that semi-saint also had a holy character, and he was not something he could fight against now. After staying in place for about 5 minutes, a low roar appeared in the depression ahead. The next moment, Nia's figure appeared, and he said to Li Yuan with a solemn expression, "Your Majesty, there are more prey than expected. 5 lizards have come to our side. There is also a rank 9 among them. You first go back to the castle." "What about the others?" Li Yuan frowned. In their estimation, the one they attracted this time should be the rank 6 lizard. Who would have thought that it would actually come to the rank 9? Nia quickly replied. 1 rank 9, 4 rank 6. Hearing this, Li Yuan hesitated for a moment and replied, "I will deal with 2 rank 6, and you will deal with the others." Kings. Nia wanted to say something else, but the ground was shaking, and several tall figures were rushing towards him quickly. "Your Majesty, be careful." Nia said nothing, turned around and ran towards the rushing figure. Boom. With a loud noise, Nia actually killed a rank 6 mutant lizard with one move, then turned around and attacked several other lizards. In an instant, Nia stopped 3 lizards, including one with loose golden scales all over its body. This is the rank 9 mutant lizard. 3 mutated lizards surrounded Nia, poison gas sprayed out from their mouths, and the specific battle situation could not be seen at all. Only a few tails could be seen sweeping across and smashing down. Li Yuan stood aside, looking a little speechless. He had promised to deal with both ends, but Nia was stunned and killed a mutated lizard instantly. In this way, Li Yuan only has to face 1 mutant lizard. But the lizard that came later was about to besiege Nia when a fire dragon lit up the forest. At the same time, a ray of fire quickly and accurately landed on the mutated lizard's chest. It is said to be a lizard, but in fact it is about the same size as a dinosaur and is extremely huge. There are also thick and hard scales on the body. The fireball emitted by Li Yuan did not cause substantial damage to the mutated lizard, but only left black traces. But it also let this mutated lizard know that there are other intruders here. Bang bang bang. The mutant lizard's 4 short legs moved rapidly, and half of the roller coaster raced over the pile of trees, heading straight towards Li Yuan. My first battle. Battle. Li Yuan looked at the mutant lizard flying towards him, took a deep breath, and his eyes were full of fighting spirit. With a kick of his foot, Li Yuan used the force to fly high in the air. The mutated lizard shuttled past almost close to the soles of his feet. The lizard was fast and extremely agile. After running past, it quickly stopped, turned around, and bit Li Yuan. The teeth are dense and messy, and at the same time, there is a large amount of poisonous gas spurting out. When Li Yuan's figure fell, he was not sloppy at all, and the dragon talisman's pyroblast was instantly activated. The palm of his hand was immediately covered in firelight, and the firelight lingered on his arm, quickly forming a fireball and hitting the mutated lizard. Boom! The fireball landed smoothly on the head of the mutated lizard. Li Yuan's target was originally the bloody mouth of the mutated lizard. But the mutated lizard was too flexible and actually hid away, as if it felt the violent energy contained in the fireball. The fireball exploded on the mutant lizard's head, and the fire suddenly covered the mutant lizard. But at this moment, Li Yuan felt a sharp pain in his back, and his whole body hit the trunk of a giant tree next to him like a kite. A dark tail hit Li Yuan's back at some point. It was the mutated lizard covered in fire. The moment he suffered the pyroblast, its tail whipped towards Li Yuan in a strange trajectory. In an instant, the ghost of rank 7 appeared in front of Li Yuan. Go away. Li Yuan rolled up from the ground and shouted coldly to stop the ghost of rank 7 who was about to take action. Being used to Nia and the others killing beasts and monsters instantly, Li Yuan thought that his dragon talisman pyroblast might kill the rank 6 lizard. The result is self-evident. He was careless and did not expect rank 6 lizard to be so resistant to beatings. I also forgot that Warcraft is intelligent and will not stand there stupidly and let you fight. At this time, the mutated lizard's body was indeed blasted to pieces in many places, but it was still standing and not dead. Not only did he not die, he also fought back when he was attacked. This was something Leuan, a newbie in combat, did not expect at all, and suffered a big loss for it. With a flick of his lips, Leuan walked towards the mutated lizard after the explosion, with a dangerous light flashing in his eyes. Come again. Leuan's steps became faster and faster, and he rushed under the mutated lizard in the blink of an eye. And the mutated lizard's tail swept towards him again. Leuan's expression remained unchanged, and he flicked his right hand. Electric light filled his palm, and it instantly turned into an electric knife. The next moment, Leuan's figure disappeared. At the same time, two blue arcs of light flashed across the sky. After a while, the mutant lizard's tail broke off, and then, the mutant lizard's head separated from the body and fell. No blood flowed out. The thunder knife burned the wound and stopped the bleeding. Leuan's figure fell from the sky, glanced at the mutated lizard's body, the thunder knife in his hand disappeared, and his face turned slightly pale. But soon, Leuan recovered as before, with a smile on his face. A real battle is really not easy. If he didn't have the horse talisman, that tail blow just now would be enough to kill half of his life. And this was caused by his contempt and carelessness. So this first battle taught him a lesson: no matter the enemy is strong or weak, he must remain on high alert. Also, you have to use all your strength to avoid capsizing in the gutter. The rank 6 mutant lizard is indeed no match for Leuan. After all, with his current combat power, it is not impossible to deal with an ordinary rank 7. At this time, cutting off the tail with one sword and cutting off the head with one sword was not surprising. When Leuan killed the mutant lizard, Nia on the other side also ended the lives of several other mutant lizards. It wouldn't have been so fast, but when Nia saw Leuan injured, he went crazy. After fighting to the death, the rank 9 lizard fell instantly. After all the mutated lizards were eliminated, Nia suddenly appeared next to Leuan, his red face almost turning blue. "My lord, are you okay?" Leuan shook his head and said, "It's okay, I just got scratched. Not to mention, the injury from the blow just now was healed with the help of the horse charm. But when I was injured, the pain was still there, it was really painful, and my internal organs felt like they had been smashed into pieces. The last general failed to protect me, please punish me, your majesty." Nia fell to one knee, looking like it was all his fault. The other rank 7 ghost figure was already kneeling on the ground with his head on the ground. Seeing this, Leuan felt a little helpless. "Okay, this is none of your business. Besides, am I fine? Get up." Leuan changed the subject and asked, "How is it going with Eeka?" Nia then stood up, glanced in the direction of Eeka, and replied, "There should be no problem. The rank 9 mutant lizard that was alarmed came to chase me." There were only 2 rank 8 mutant lizards on his side, one rank 7 and one rank 6. "Well, let's wait first." Leuan nodded. Soon, Leuan sensed that Eeka had died once, but not long after, Eeka's figure appeared in front of him. Eeka bowed his hands and said, "Your Majesty, you have lived up to your command. The last general has been promoted to rank 8. Leuan felt it, and sure enough, Eeka had been promoted to rank 8 and directly had the combat power of rank 9. "All the black shadows, come here." Leuan gave an order, and more than a dozen ghosts and giant shadows all appeared here. Finally, Leuan looked at Nia and asked, "Is there a chance to break through to rank 9 this time?" "I can't guarantee this, General." Nia thought for a while and replied. After all, the amount of energy he needs to advance from rank 8 to rank 9 is astronomical, millions. In fact, if he was alone this time, he might be able to level up by killing these mutated lizards. It's just that Nia can't beat it alone, so Eeka must participate. If you add Leuan, the energy points will be shared among 3 people, which may not be enough. Leuan nodded and said, "It's okay, then you can take action. I and the other shadows will be guarding outside. Even if Nia fails to advance, Eeka can become stronger by sharing energy points. By then Nia will probably be just a little bit closer, and 2 days will be enough to upgrade to rank 9. The ghosts and giant shadows are not involved and do not share the energy." Leuan stayed outside with them, hunting some fish that slipped through the net. Nia and Eeka looked at each other and disappeared into the darkness quietly. After a while, the sound of fighting came from the depression, and it was very fierce. Fortunately, they had just lured out nearly 10 mutant lizards, and General Eeka had also been promoted to rank 8. Otherwise, it will be more difficult to attack directly. Soon, Leuan felt that General Eeka died first. Of course, Leuan can continue to receive news of energy absorption, but not as fast as expected. Leuan frowned, moved a little closer, and then jumped onto a taller giant tree with a clear view. In the depression, a mutant lizard larger than the one Leuan killed just now appeared. 90% of the scales on the body are golden, leaving only a small part that is still black, which is very dazzling in the moonlight. This should be the elite rank 9 mutant lizard. Leuan guessed that if the opponent's scales all turned into gold, he might be promoted to the sacred domain. At the same time, the dragon race bloodline condenses in the body, and maybe it can transform into a giant dragon. At this time, it was Nia who was fighting against this elite rank 9. Eeka, on the other hand, attracted other mutated lizards and was surrounded by dozens of lizards, so he died. But this also gave Nia the opportunity to fight against the elite rank 9 mutant lizard alone. Of course, this was a long-planned plan. Nia can compete with rank 9, but it is still a little inferior to the elite rank 9. Therefore, Nia first restrains the elite rank 9, while Eeka takes care of the other mutated lizards. After the other lizards are dealt with, Eeka will join forces with Nia to deal with the elite rank 9. Nia is in a miserable situation right now. From time to time, he is knocked away by the elite rank 9 lizard, and he is completely at a disadvantage. But he still persisted, not even dying, and still had time to help Eeka. Eeka General is even worse. Ever since he died once, he has been dying non-stop, every few seconds. However, every time General Eeka dies in battle, a mutated lizard will be taken away. So after half a minute passed, there were only 6 lizards left that besieged General Eeka. Roar! At this time, the elite rank 9 lizards also discovered that their group was declining, and let out a roar that shook the sky. The golden scales on its body glowed with light, its speed suddenly increased, and a pair of claws directly caught the fleeing Nia. Immediately afterwards, the elite rank 9 lizard bit Nia into pieces and swallowed it. Elite rank 9's anger rose, and he roared and rushed towards General Eeka again, as if he wanted to devour him. But at this moment, Nia's figure appeared in front of him again. And it appeared on the elite rank 9 lizard's lower jaw, forcefully pulling its mouth open and closed. Eeka! Nia shouted loudly. Eeka General understood Nia's meaning without asking any more questions and immediately gave up on the other mutated lizards. Swish, swish, swish. Blades condensed from black shadows appeared all over Eeka's body, spinning crazily around his body. The next moment, his entire figure was like a turbine, going straight into the mouth of the elite rank 9 lizard being held by Nia. At the same time, Nia let go of the elite rank 9 lizard, turned around and started massacring other lizards. And Eeka entered the abdomen of the elite rank 9 lizard, like a drill, constantly running rampant through its body. Ho 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 ho! The elite rank 9 lizard kept roaring in pain. The huge body twisted wildly, and many of the surrounding giant trees were broken and kept falling. Not long after, the elite rank 9 lizard's body once again bloomed with golden light, and its body also shrank by a large circle. A few breaths later, Eeka's figure appeared next to Nia. Apparently, he died in the belly of the elite rank 9 lizard again. The dragon blood that was finally condensed was burned and consumed like this. Death, you all will die. The shrunk elite rank 9 lizard was actually uttering human words in an angry tone. Generally speaking, only when Warcraft reaches the sacred domain can they speak human words. Not only can he speak human language, but he can also take on human form. Although this rank 9 elite lizard has not yet reached the level of sacred domain, he is a mutant monster. The dragon blood in his body gives him the ability of a dragon, so he can speak. He didn't say anything at first. He just felt that the 2 little bugs in front of him would not pose any threat to him. But now, it has been hit hard by these 2 little bugs. The dragon blood in its body has been purified and accumulated over countless years, which is related to the dragon transformation of the rank 9 mutant lizard. But after suffering the damage caused by Eeka in his body just now, it had to burn most of the dragon's blood. With this, the rank 9 elite lizard not only fully recovered from his injuries, but was even stronger than at his peak just now. It is infinitely close to the point of sacred domain. Fortunately, taking advantage of the effort just now, Nia has killed all the other mutant lizards. Roar! When the rank 9 mutant lizard saw that his group was completely wiped out, his eyes became even more angry. This time, it opened its mouth and roared, and a powerful fire-colored light sprayed out from its mouth. Dragon breath. After burning the dragon's blood in its body, the rank 9 mutated lizard briefly possessed the dragon's innate skill, dragon's breath. It can be seen that if this rank 9 mutant lizard can dragon transformation, it should be a fire-type dragon. Its dragon breath instantly exploded the air, and some of the surrounding tree barks burned. The fiery breath, the target is naturally Nia and Eeka. Nia and Eeka, both of them were extremely solemn at this time. This was the strongest monster they had ever encountered. No one of them can be an opponent of the elite rank 9 lizard when faced alone. However, this kind of grand attack is ineffective against them. Before the dragon breath of the elite rank 9 lizard was about to arrive, both Eeka and Nia quickly sank into the ground and traveled directly through the shadow space. Although the firelight illuminated the area, it was night after all, and there were too many dark places. Nia and Eeka emerged from the darkness on the left and right of the elite rank 9 lizard respectively, and launched a flanking attack on the mutated lizard. However, the reaction speed of the elite rank 9 mutant lizard is too fast. When Eeka just emerged, he had already opened his mouth and bit down on the location where Eeka was. At the same time, the tail whose golden scales dimmed a lot swept towards the place where Nia appeared. With the lesson learned last time, the elite rank 9 mutant lizard did not think of swallowing Eeka into its belly this time, but bit Eeka. Obviously, it also knows that Eeka is weaker than Nia, so it needs to deal with Eeka first. In fact, it did succeed because Eeka was not able to escape and did not escape. Hiss! The elite rank 9 mutated lizard, with its sharp teeth, bit Eeka's figure into 2 pieces. Nia was also swept by the tail, and his figure flew upside down among the trees. With one blow, the judgment was made. Although both Eeka and Nia's combat power is comparable to that of rank 9, they are no match for the elite rank 9 mutant lizards when faced head-on. With the blessing of the burning dragon's blood, the elite rank 9 lizard is extremely powerful. Roar! The elite rank 9 mutated lizard, after tearing Eeka to pieces, went straight to Nia, who was swept away by his tail. But the next moment, Eeka's figure appeared again. This time, the elite rank 9 mutant lizard ran towards Nia too fast and did not notice the appearance of Eeka for a while. Eeka appeared at the lizard's feet, climbed along his legs, and at the same time pulled out the long sword from his waist and thrust it into the lizard's joints. Chi. The long sword struck the lizard's joints, sparking a string of sparks, but it failed to penetrate. You know, the weapons condensed from the power of rank 8 shadow of Eeka itself are basically equivalent to rank 8 weapons. It can be seen that the defense of this mutant lizard is also extremely powerful. Disgusting undead creature, let me see how many times you can die. The elite rank 9 mutated lizard uttered human words again, and the scales on its legs flew and shot out, shattering Eeka's body again. Obviously, the lizard regards Eeka as an undead creature that can be reborn. Some types of undead creatures have the function of death and rebirth, but each rebirth requires the consumption of original power. The rebirth of the Black Shadow certainly does not require this origin. As long as the shadow space is immortal, all shadows, including the 9 generals, can be resurrected indefinitely. The current situation, as long as Leuan does not die and the castle is not destroyed, then there will be no real death of the Black Shadow. After Eeka died in battle again, the scales that flew out returned to the lizard's legs on their own, as if they were not born on the body. In the distance, Leuan's eyes flashed when he saw this. This lizard seems to have a layer of armor on it. Just when those scales flew back, Leuan saw there was another layer of scales on the lizard's legs. Could it be that the lizard's ability to mutate is related to this layer of armor? Leuan was thinking about this, and on the other side, Nia was finally killed by the elite rank 9 lizard. After Nia and Eeka were resurrected, the elite rank 9 lizard barely gave them any time to breathe and began an endless pursuit. Death, death, death. Elite rank 9 lizard kept roaring, trying to use this to wipe out the life source of Eeka and Nia. But soon, the elite rank 9 lizard discovered something was wrong. It has killed Eeka and Nia more than 10 times, but the aura on these two guys has not dropped. Nia and Eeka also saw the status of elite rank 9 lizard. The burning power of dragon blood in this lizard is constantly decreasing, and its strength is also increasing. Therefore, although they are constantly dying, they will launch their most powerful attack before each death. Use this to consume the power gained by the elite rank 9 lizard from burning dragon blood. In the end, the aura of the elite rank 9 lizard dropped to the level of an ordinary rank 9 monster. The lizard gasped for air and shouted angrily, "What the hell are you? How come you can't be killed?" Both Nia and Eeka were killed by it 180 times, and the results are still in peak condition, no different from the beginning. Nia and Eeka smiled at each other and ignored the lizard's question. Not to mention Nia, in the current state of this lizard, Eeka could kill it on the spot. In fact, the result was the same. The elite rank 9 lizard finally died in the hands of Eeka, who had died the most. When the elite rank 9 mutant lizard was completely dead, Leuan slowly walked over. At this time, Leuan has successfully broken through to rank 7. There are mainly dozens of mutated lizards, all of which are not bad in strength. The worst are rank 6, and more are rank 7 and 8. Unfortunately, Nia did not break through to rank 9, it was still a little bit short. As for Eeka, it is considered mid-rank 8. As he walked, he collected the carcasses of other lizards, and the smile on Leuan's face became more and more intense. Soon, Leuan arrived in front of the body of the elite rank 9 mutant lizard. Leuan reached out and touched the surface of the mutated lizard's body. It was cold and did not look like real scales. Maybe, this is really a piece of equipment armor. It can give the lizard the bloodline of dragon race and even the potential of dragon transformation. This armor is definitely extraordinary. However, Leuan did not let Haiying peel off the armor, but chose to collect it directly. Having experience with the goblin tribe, he knew that through collection, he could obtain relatively complete equipment. Collect now. The collection of monster corpses was successful. Closing square bracket. You have obtained 500 units of elite food. Closing square bracket. You have obtained 85 energy stones. Closing square bracket. You got 3 origin crystals. Closing square bracket. You have obtained the god level armor, dragon blood armor. Closing square bracket. You have obtained a special architectural drawing. Closing square bracket. Looking at the prompt boxes that kept flashing by, Leuan's face was already smiling. As expected of an elite rank 9 mutant monster, there are so many things given to him, and he even revealed special building drawings. And that armor, divine level. Leuan did not count all the gains for the time being, but said to Nia and Eeka, "You continue, I will go back first." Eeka and Nia nodded at the same time and then disappeared. And the other black shadows also left, and they, who were not tired, naturally went to spawn monsters again. Only the ghost of rank 7 first sent Leuan back to the castle, and then returned to the group Leuan assigned them before. In the castle, Leuan started to count all the harvest tonight with a smile. Not to mention the food, Leuan simply ignored this item. Energy stone, 140 in total. Although the explosion rate of origin crystal is not really 60%, I still got a full 18 this time. Compared with these, Leuan is more concerned about the dragon blood armor and special architectural drawings. The existence of dragon blood armor proves Leuan's previous conjecture that the elite rank 9 mutant lizards are indeed wearing armor. Leuan took out this set of golden armor from the warehouse. At the same time, all the information panels for this armor also appeared in front of his eyes. Equipment introduction. Dragon blood armor, made of divine level dragon scale armor, tempered by the blood of divine level dragon. Closing square bracket. Equipment level. God level. Equipment skills. 1. Attacks below divine level or weakened by 50%. 2. Activate dragon blood to cast dragon breath. Closing square bracket. Warm reminder. Wearing this armor will gain the hatred of all dragon race. Closing square bracket. This equipment is a bit powerful. Leuan looked at the introduction of the dragon blood armor and couldn't help but sigh. This armor seems to be made of special dragon scales. It is very delicate and soft and can be changed in size at will. It's easy to understand, otherwise the mutated lizard wouldn't be able to wear it. The point is, the dragon blood armor on the lizard is not complete, but broken. Because the divine level armor is enough to withstand 50% of the attacks from divine level experts, ordinary attacks are just scratching for him. At the same time, this dragon blood armor also has a function. It can activate the power of dragon blood and temporarily display the dragon's breath. The mutated lizard did use this ability before. It can be seen from this that the lizard must have accidentally obtained the broken dragon blood armor somewhere, which led to the mutation of their tribe. In addition, it condensed the dragon blood to transform, and extracted the power of the dragon blood armor, causing the original dragon blood armor to mutate. The broken dragon blood armor was even more powerful. If it is an intact dragon blood armor, let alone Eeka, even the strong ones from the sacred domain may not be able to kill this lizard. But now, what Leuan has collected is a complete dragon blood armor. In other words, the current dragon blood armor can exert 100% of its original power. Anyway, I got a big deal. Leuan put away the dragon blood armor and had no intention of selling it. Put the divine weapon out for sale, your brain is showing off. Ordinary equipment is of no use to him in Black Shadow, and it doesn't matter if it is sold, but this armor is of great use. If Nia and Eeka were given dragon blood armor, they would not be able to compete with rank 9, but they would be able to be killed head-on and instantly killed. Once they break through to rank 9, they can infinitely close the gap with Sacred Domain. After all, there is a big gap between Sacred Domain and rank 9, which is an improvement in life level and the ability to use the energy of heaven and earth for one's own use. Therefore, even if Nia and the others reach rank 9, they will most likely not be able to match the strong players of Sacred Domain. The unexpected acquisition of dragon blood armor this time may be enough to make up for this gap and allow them to fight across the ranks again. If it is within the territory, it can also be upgraded to rank 1 unconditionally. Nia and Eeka of rank 9 may be able to kill ordinary sacred domains wearing it. After putting away the dragon blood armor, Leuan took out the special architectural drawings. Suddenly, a prompt box popped up. If you find an architectural drawing, should you conduct an appraisal immediately? Closing square bracket. Identify immediately. Leuan looked forward to it, wondering if there would be another saint-level drawing this time. Just like last time, a ray of light flashed on the craft paper, and the drawing identification information was displayed in front of Leuan's eyes. High-level architectural blueprint. Magic defense tower. Function. Connected to the castle crystal core, it launches magic cannonballs to attack territory intruders. The attack and defense are equal to the castle level. Closing square bracket. Construction materials. 1,000 units of stone, 2,000 units of wood, 100 units of refined iron, 1 origin crystal. Closing square bracket. Seeing the appraisal results, Leuan was still a little regretful. It's just a high-level special building, not saint level. It's normal when you think about it. The Saint Source Tower was exploded by the Saint-level monster Blood-Eyed Demon Ape, and the lizard was just an elite rank 9. This magic defense tower may be useful or useless. Now the core defense of Black Shadow Castle is rank 6, so if the defense tower is built, its attack power and defense power will only be rank 6. It's not too strong, and it's a consumable item. Once it's damaged, it has to be rebuilt. Moreover, the castle is so big, if you build 2 of them, the effect will not be that obvious. Unless you build a 180-seat one, which is equivalent to having 180 fixed units, that would be good. After all the overlords now have few types of soldiers. With 180 defense towers, it is obvious that the castle's defensive capabilities can be enhanced. The premise is that there are so many resources. 1,000 units of stone, 2,000 units of wood, 100 units of refined iron, 1 origin crystal. This kind of material demand is not high, but it is really not easy for the average overlord to come up with too much. Leuan has quite a few, but unfortunately all of them were used to upgrade the furnace for the little fairy. Now the stone and wood in the warehouse have to be reserved for upgrading the town, so not much can be used at the same time. Especially, this defense tower also needs origin crystal. Let's wait and see first. Once the town is upgraded, we can make some extra ones. Then, Leuan threw the drawing back to the warehouse and looked at the information about the exchange square. More and more people are bidding on the equipment auction. That piece of rank 5 silver armor has now attracted more than 800 units of iron spirits. Others also experienced small increases. Leuan is not in a hurry. Anyway, the auction will end at noon tomorrow. It's time to level up the Black Shadow Crystal. Leuan smiled, turned and walked towards Black Shadow Crystal. As a result of killing the mutant lizards tonight, all of Leuan's energy stones and origin crystals have met the requirements for upgrading the Black Shadow Crystal. At this time, Leuan has 1,203 energy stones and 54 origin crystals. The Black Shadow Crystal upgrade only requires 1,000 energy stones and 50 origin crystals, and there is still some left over after use. It took a lot of time to kill the group of mutated lizards before. Leuan returned to the castle to count the harvest and spent some time. It was almost midnight. After upgrading, you can almost recruit Sombra again. Leuan has been preparing for this upgrade for a long time. The main reason is that the origin crystal is too difficult to obtain. If you don't encounter a group of mutated lizards with a high explosion rate, you may have to upgrade it tomorrow. Tonight is already the night of the 5th day, and we are very close to the impact of the primary beast wave. When Leuan came to the Black Shadow Crystal, a prompt box popped up. Black Shadow Overlord, you already have enough materials to upgrade the barracks. Do you want to upgrade immediately? Closing square bracket. Upgrade immediately, Leuan said directly without thinking too much. Suddenly, the Black Shadow Crystal's light surged. Not long after, all the light disappeared, almost like the first upgrade. On the surface, there were not many changes to the Black Shadow Crystal. The information panel also changed after the light passed. Black Shadow Crystal. A unique military battalion, containing 9 corps. Closing square bracket. 9 corps. Ghost Shadow Corps, Claw Shadow Corps, Giant Shadow Corps, Flying Shadow Corps, Helmet Shadow Corps, Soft Shadow Corps, Devouring Shadow Corps, Pincer Shadow Corps, Scythe Shadow Corps. Level 3. Level 3 production capacity. 10 shadow soldiers can be bred every day. The types of soldiers are random. There is a 1,000th chance of recruiting a shadow general. Closing square bracket. Upgrade items. 5,000 energy stones, 200 origin crystals. Closing square bracket. Looking at the information panel, Leuan smiled on his face. The production capacity has finally doubled, from 5 per day to 10 per day. Before the beast tide comes, you can recruit 2 more times, that is, 20 black shadows. But if there is enough time, there is still a chance to recruit again in the early morning of the 8th day. That means there will be 30 more black shadows. Of course, the premise is that the opportunity can be grasped, or the beast tide does not appear after 12 o'clock in the evening, giving everyone this opportunity. Regardless, an increase in numbers is a good thing. After all, the purpose of upgrading the Black Shadow Crystal is to summon more black shadows. The number of black shadows is still too small and cannot reach the endless level Leuan imagined. This is related to the future of the castle. But now that it has been upgraded to level 3, the number of his Black Shadow army will also increase. In addition to the quantity, the chance of recruiting a general has also increased tenfold. Originally, the Black Shadow army only had 9 generals, but now Leuan has recruited 2 generals in addition to Eeka and Nia. There are only 7 left that have not yet been recruited. Although this is a tenfold increase, which is equivalent to an infinite Black Shadow army, it is still an extremely small chance. But it has finally improved. In just the past few days, Leuan has recruited 2 generals. His overall luck is very good. Moreover, now that 10 black shadows are recruited at once, the probability of recruiting other soldiers should not be too low. Now Leuan has only recruited soldiers from 2 corps of giant shadows and black shadows, and there are still 7 corps of black shadows that he has not recruited. The ghost shadow is considered a basic corps, all-purpose, and its combat capabilities are actually average. Although the giant shadow can be used as a human shield, its flexibility is also relatively poor. It's not that the shadows of these 2 corps are not strong, it's mainly that the shadows of other corps have some abilities that are more prominent. If the 9 major corps gather together, the overall combat effectiveness of the Black Shadow will obviously increase several times. I hope I can recruit the shadows from other regiments. Leuan took a deep breath and looked at the Black Shadow Crystal again. Recruit now. However, after the words fell, black shadow crystal did not move at all. Leuan reacted quickly and looked back at the clock above the castle. It was still 1 minute before 12 o'clock. Ever since, Leuan stood under the black shadow crystal and waited obediently for a minute. But as soon as 12 o'clock passed, the prompt box of black shadow crystal appeared in front of Leuan's eyes. Black shadow crystal has been charged, please recruit immediately. Closing square bracket. Leuan nodded and said, recruit immediately. As Leuan finished speaking, just like before, some shadows flowed out of the black shadow crystal. It's just that in the past there were 5 groups of shadows, but this time it became 10 groups. After a moment, these 10 shadows smoothly appeared in front of Leuan and turned into 10 black shadows. In an instant, Leuan's eyes lit up. Ha ha ha, my luck is really good, I really recruited other corps. At this moment, 10 shadow soldiers were clearly revealed. 2 of them are the most familiar ghost ninjas, and there are 2 tall giant shadows, both of which were previously recruited black shadow soldiers. In addition, there are 2 flapping bat-like wings, half suspended in the air. This is the flying shadow of the 9 Black Shadow Army, also known as the Night Bat Group, which has the ability to fly. The flying shadows all have bat-like wings, and their overall shape is somewhat similar to that of a bat. They possess very fast speeds. In addition to speed, they also have special magic-like attacks. The palms of their hands can emit light waves to cause attack damage to the enemy. They can also use light waves to form light ropes to bind the enemy. They can attack from a distance or engage in melee combat, film. There are also shortcomings, including poor defense. Among the new black shadows recruited this time, in addition to Feiying, there are 2 other new corps. Next to Feiying, there are 2 black figures that look like mantises. Their arms are slender and long. But they have no fingers, they are all claws, and they are extremely sharp. And their feet are not ordinary soles, but like awls, which are also extremely sharp. This is the Thorn Blade group among the 9 Black Shadow Army, also known as the Claw Shadow. It has very powerful melee capabilities, far surpassing the Ghost Shadow. Beside the Stabbing Shadow, there was a dark figure wearing armor. This is the Helmet Shadow of one of the 9 corps under General Eeka, also known as the Martial Warriors. This recruitment, 2 Ghost Shadows, 2 Giant Shadows, 2 Helmet Shadows, 2 Flying Shadows, plus 2 Claw Shadows. Leuan really didn't expect that the upgraded Black Shadow Crystal would recruit 3 new corps soldiers at once. The number is not large, but the types of corps have increased, which is already good. Leuan looked at these newly recruited shadows, feeling extremely happy, and immediately recalled the other shadows. The newly recruited Sombra's initial strength is rank 5. If they upgrade alone, it will not be easy to upgrade to a high level in just 2 days. Therefore, Leuan once again divided them into groups, led by rank 7 ghosts, sacrificing their energy to upgrade these new shadows. After all, for those rank 7 ghosts, it is unrealistic for them to upgrade again. Before the beast wave comes, Leuan hopes that these ghosts will all reach rank 7. The same goes for those recruited tomorrow. He is ready to let Nia and the others lead the team to gain experience. Hard brush, hard promotion. When the time comes, a group of more than 30 rank 7 shadows, plus Nia and Eeka, will this so-called beast wave attack still pose a danger to him? After finishing the grouping of the black shadows, they went out to spawn monsters. And Leuan naturally returned to the Holy Source Tower. Now, he has reached rank 7. If he wants to improve in the future, it will still be quite difficult. However, Leuan still feels that there is hope. After all, he has absorbed a lot of energy from the Holy Source Tower now. In addition, all the killings of the black shadows outside will bring energy to him. With double accumulation, rank 9 is impossible. Rank 8 has a chance. After cleaning up, Leuan wanted to go to bed, but then he remembered that he hadn't showered or washed yet. At that moment, Leuan returned to the castle, took a comfortable hot bath, put on his pajamas, and returned to the Holy Source Tower. Taking advantage of this time, Leuan calculated his iron skills. There were previously 2,180 units of iron spirits, most of which were provided by little fairies. The furnace of the little fairy Mo Shanshan has been upgraded to saint level, the output has doubled, and at least 2,000 units of iron essence will be produced tomorrow. In total, that's about 4,200 units. By the 7th day, I can still earn another 2,000, which is more than 6,000 units. Don't forget, the auction in the exchange square is still going on, and there should be thousands of units of iron essence in the account there by then. Therefore, as long as nothing else happens, his castle will be upgraded to a town by tomorrow at the latest. Leuan lay down on the bed, smiled, and quickly fell asleep. Tonight, he had a long and pleasant dream. In the dream, he successfully won first place in the following Beast Tide event and received a huge reward. In the future Overlord competition, you will kill gods when you meet them, and you will kill Buddhas when you meet Buddhas. The entire war continent is under the control of the shadow, and truly being where the shadow is the symbol of the kingdom of shadow. Just when Leuan was sleeping, in the corner of the Holy Source Tower, the mutant blood-eyed demon ape baby, which had been ignored by Leuan since arriving at the castle, had been staying in the Holy Source Tower to absorb energy. In the past few days, the little monkey's level has improved a lot. It has been upgraded from the original rank 3 to rank 6, and the efficiency of absorbing energy is very high. However, just in the middle of the night, a powerful aura suddenly erupted from the little monkey. Leuan could not help but be awakened from his sleep. What happened? Leuan opened the quilt and looked at the little monkey in the corner. It's not that he's worried about enemy invasion. In any case, it's still within the protection period. The little monkey had a master-servant contract with him, so it was impossible for him to rebel. Leuan stared at the little monkey and realized that the little monkey's body was undergoing huge changes. At this time, the energy in the Holy Source Tower rushed towards the little monkey crazily. The absorption efficiency even reaches tens of thousands of energy points per second, which is countless times stronger than Leuan. Under the absorption of these energies, the yellow fur on the little monkey's body turned golden at a speed visible to the naked eye. At the same time, the little monkey also grew in size. From the height of half a man, it has grown to 2 meters tall, and its body has become much larger. The monkey's eyes became extremely red, but there was a little golden light shining in the scarlet eyes. Matches the color of its fur. What are you doing? Leuan looked at the little monkey and didn't know what was going on for a moment. Perhaps because his level had become higher, Leuan looked outside and stopped sleeping. He just looked at the little monkey quietly. Next, there are not many changes in other aspects of the little monkey. The aura is getting stronger and stronger, and it has been promoted from rank 6 to rank 7, and only more than 10 minutes have passed. It takes more than 10 minutes to upgrade a level, which is as fast as riding a rocket. Leuan could tell at this time that this little monkey might be undergoing some kind of bloodline evolution. Because the little monkey can no longer be called a little monkey. After all, its body is already taller than Leuan. Of course, compared to its mother's body, this is only about the size of the sacred domain blood-eyed demon ape's finger. As for Leuan's belief that the monkey evolved through blood, the reason is that the monkey's scarlet eyes have almost completely faded away, and the pupils have turned golden, leaving only a little bit in the middle that is still scarlet, which is the only other color on his body. In addition, the whole body of the monkey has been shrouded in golden yellow, like a golden statue. Finally, the last trace of scarlet in the monkey's eyes was covered with gold. Boom! The aura on the monkey's body suddenly surged at this moment, and it actually broke through the rank 7 barrier and was promoted to rank 8. Leuan looked at it for a while, and it was like drinking water. Is this the monkey he was talking about? At this time, the golden light on the monkey's body slowly converged, and the other limbs slowly returned to their original state. The golden fur didn't change much, and the body returned to the height of half a man, turning into a little monkey again. The little monkey's body still looks childish, but its eyes suddenly become much calmer, as if it has suddenly changed from a child to an adult, which is a spiritual growth. I've met the master. Unexpectedly, the little monkey actually spoke to Leuan, speaking the common language of War Continent. You know, only sacred domain monsters can speak human words. The elite rank 9 lizard that I killed earlier was because it was mutated. Thinking of this, Leuan then remembered that on the information panel of the little monkey at that time, it also belonged to a mutant monster. The blood-eyed demon ape is a different species, and it is for this reason that the little monkey has the upper limit of divine level. But despite this, the little monkey is also rank 8, and rank 8 can speak human words. Li Yuan is still very curious. Li Yuan looked at the little monkey and asked, "What happened to you?" "The blood in my body has evolved." The little monkey didn't hide anything and replied truthfully, "My father has the bloodline of the ancient golden Holy Ape, and now it has been activated by me." Golden Holy Ape. Li Yuan muttered something, and with a flash of his eyes, the little monkey's message appeared in front of his eyes. Contract Beast. Golden Holy Ape. Strength level. Rank 8. Loyalty. 100 care of. Growth limit. Divine Realm. Reminder, the Golden Holy Ape is an ancient divine beast that often feeds on giant dragons. When it reaches adulthood, it becomes the Divine Realm and is unparalleled in battle. Closing square bracket. Sure enough, the little monkey's name became the Golden Holy Ape. When Li Yuan saw the last prompt, his eyes suddenly lit up. Although the upper limit of the Golden Holy Ape has not been increased and it is still in the Divine Realm, but being able to feed on giant dragons must be a very powerful existence in the Divine Realm. After all, the dragon is also the creature at the top of the war continent, and basically becomes the sacred domain divine domain in adulthood. Being able to use giant dragons as food shows how powerful the Golden Holy Ape is. In the announcement information of the World Chat channel, Divine Realm is also divided into strong and weak. In the Divine Realm, there are many levels, but because the current overlords are still too low level, they have not been announced. There is no doubt that the little monkey's potential has increased after his bloodline evolved this time. And after adulthood, he becomes the Divine Realm, and he is still a relatively powerful existence in the Divine Realm. This is good news for Li Yuan. Not to mention the future, even now there is a rank 8 master, which also enhances the strength of the castle. The only pity is that the little monkey is not a shadow and cannot be reborn. I wonder if there is a way to assimilate the little monkey into a black shadow. An idea suddenly popped into Li Yuan's mind. To be honest, Divine Realm may be strong, but it is nothing compared to the 9 generals. Although I don't know how powerful the 9 generals are in the Divine Realm, their immortality properties make them invincible. But if there is a way to assimilate the Golden Holy Ape into a black shadow, it can have the attribute of immortality. But this is just what Li Yuan thinks. At least there is no way at the moment. Otherwise, let alone the Golden Holy Ape, he would assimilate all the monsters in Crimson Moon Forest and turn them all into an army of black shadow monsters. Shaking his head, Li Yuan looked at the sky again, preparing to go back to sleep again. But the little monkey said, "Master, can I go out?" Li Yuan glanced at the little monkey, frowned and said, "You are not very strong now, what are you doing out there?" He could feel the hatred in the little monkey's heart, and it was obvious that he had not forgotten the tragic death of his mother. "Master, you are worrying too much. I am self-aware and am not a match for Sacred Domain yet." The little monkey shook his head and said, "In my inherited memory, the Holy Court has countless divine realms. Even if I am promoted to the Divine Realm in the future, it is impossible for me to go to the Holy Court to take revenge. However, I will kill that human." Quote. At the end of the sentence, the little monkey was full of murderous intent, with golden light shining in his eyes. After a pause, the little monkey continued, "This time my bloodline has evolved, and I have a lot more divine ability skills. When I go out, I can find other warcraft to familiarize myself with, which can enhance my combat effectiveness. If I become familiar with it, I can surpass it. I fight at the same level. Moreover, now that I am rank 8, it will be impossible to absorb energy in this tower and advance in a short time." Li Yuan thought for a while, nodded and said, "Okay, let's go out. Pay attention to safety." "Thank you, Master." The little monkey grinned and said, "I won't die until I kill that Holy Court Knight." "Wrong, little monkey." Li Yuan looked at the little monkey and said calmly, "Your life is mine. If I don't let you die, you can't die. Do you understand?" Upon hearing this, the little monkey felt like he was electrocuted. "Got it," the little monkey said quickly. The contract it signed with Li Yuan was a master-servant contract, and Li Yuan controlled life and death. Originally, because of the evolution of his bloodline, the little monkey had regained some of the pride of the Golden Holy Ape clan, so he didn't think too much about what he said. But after Li Yuan's reminder, the little monkey also recognized his reality. He is now Li Yuan's contract beast. Ordinarily, how could a Golden Holy Ape be a contracted beast for humans? But this was the opportunity his mother gave him in exchange for its body at the last moment of her life. A chance to live. Otherwise, if he is left as a rank 3 little monkey in Crimson Moon Forest, he may have already turned into the excrement of other monsters. Leuan smiled, knowing the hatred in the little monkey's heart and understanding his eagerness for revenge, so he added, "But don't worry, if there is a chance, I will let you take revenge yourself." "Okay, master." The little monkey bowed and replied. Leuan waved his hand and said, "Go, try not to leave too far away from the territory. If there are unbeatable monsters, return to the territory quickly. Within the scope of the territory, your strength will increase by rank 1. The little monkey is Leuan's contracted beast, which is equivalent to Leuan's subordinate. Naturally, he also enjoys the rank blessing of the Holy Source Tower. Nowadays, Nia and Eeka are both rank 8 and can compete with rank 9. With the blessing of the Holy Source Tower, it can rival the Sacred Domain. Now there is the Golden Holy Ape little monkey, whose combat power is similar to that of Nia Eeka. It just lacks the immortality of the shadow. Except for the new Sombra recruited tonight, everyone else has also reached rank 7. With the blessing of the Holy Source Tower, it also has rank 8 combat power. In addition, Leuan, the Overlord, is also rank 7, and also has the combat power of rank 8, or even rank 9. Overall, Black Shadow Castle's high-end combat power is pretty good. It should be noted that in just over 5 days, it was difficult for other overlords to upgrade their troops and themselves to rank 5. Except for the limited apex level troops, it is almost impossible. After the little monkey left, Leuan began his own sleep. When he woke up again, it was already past 10 o'clock in the morning. As usual, first wash up and make breakfast, then go to the front yard to collect the corpses of those monsters. There are a lot of them, including high-level monsters and rank 5 ones. Leuan didn't even look at how much food was collected, and still threw it all to the fairy castle in Mo Shanshan. One after another, the black shadows brought back many corpses of monsters. The shadows recruited in the early morning were all upgraded at this time, basically from rank 4 to rank 6. Obviously, Leuan's grouping is very reasonable. Moreover, with the integration of Helm Shadow, Flying Shadow and Claw Shadow, the efficiency of monster spawning is also much faster. The time soon came to noon. Leuan had eaten late, so he was not in a hurry to make lunch. At this time, Leuan was watching the weapons auction hanging on the trading square. There are now 3 minutes left before the end of the auction, and all the weapons and equipment have been bid. Rank 3 leather armor weapons, a total of 208 sets. In the auction, these leather armor weapons were basically bid for 300 to 400 units of iron essence. As for the 10 sets of rank 4 armor, the starting price was 200 units of iron essence, and the current bid has reached 600. Rank 5 silver armor is even more exaggerated. The starting price filled in by Leuan yesterday was 500 units of iron essence, but at this time the highest bidder actually reached 3,200 units. As Leuan thought, it's not that these overlords don't have iron spirits, it's just that they were unwilling to take them out before. Maybe you want to keep it for yourself, or maybe you don't want others to upgrade the town. But under the stimulation of the beast-tide activities, Leuan provided us with weapons and equipment that were currently useful, so they were willing to take them out. Yes, there are, but judging from the bidding, it's obviously not too much. A few minutes passed in the blink of an eye, and as soon as the time was up, the auction ended at the exchange square. And Leuan's weapons and equipment naturally disappeared from the warehouse. Instead, there was a pile of iron spirits. Leuan glanced at the trading background. In this auction, he obtained a total of 88,000 units of iron essence. That's right, 88,000 units. Although this number is large, it is nothing compared to the 3 billion overlords. However, the iron essence obtained from this auction, plus his original inventory, is enough to upgrade the town 8 or 9 times. It's too early to upgrade the town. Leuan had previously thought about upgrading the town as soon as the iron essence was enough. But now, Leuan has changed his mind, and now is not the best time to upgrade the town. Just at this time, Mo Shanshan sent a message. Fairy Overlord, the shadows are huge, and 300 mountain dwarves are coming to me. By the way, Tai Jing has transferred it to you. Li Yuan glanced at the warehouse, and sure enough, a man in his early 2000s had been transferred to the warehouse, doubling the number. But compared to the nearly 90,000 iron spirits he got, it pales in comparison. Li Yuan thought for a while and replied, "Well, the more people the better, just come to me if there is not enough food." Fairy Overlord, it's enough now. There are still more than 8,000 units of food in the warehouse. Li Yuan, has the castle been upgraded? Fairy Overlord, I have been promoted to high-level castle, thank you Black Shadow Cauldron. Li Yuan, has the blacksmith shop you mentioned before been completed? Can it make weapons and equipment? Fairy Overlord, I was just about to tell you about this. Uncle Green and the others have already made it. We can start after this afternoon. Li Yuan, what kind of weapons can they create at the beginning? Fairy Overlord, let me ask. Fairy Overlord, I asked, and Uncle Green said that rank 3 weapons and equipment are casual, while rank 4 and rank 5 depend on luck and materials. Seeing this, Li Yuan was a little surprised. I originally thought that those wandering dwarves could only use low-level weapons of rank 2, but I didn't expect that they would start with rank 3. Li Yuan, is there a weapons master? Little Fairy Overlord, not counting the master, that dwarf's teacher was once the royal weapon refiner of the Dwarf Kingdom, and he had made rank 6 weapons before. He said that if you have good materials, you should be able to create a rank 6 weapon. Seeing the little fairy's reply, Li Yuan really admired the little fairy's luck, which was not much worse than him. Not only did local forces take the initiative to vote, but all of them were talented people. Rank 6 weapons are considered a good level in War Continent. Although the Goblin tribe is just a small tribe, even the tribal chief is only wearing rank 5 armor. Li Yuan, I have a lot of materials here, let me give them to you. As he spoke, he transferred all the teeth, fur, bones, etc. that were no longer needed in his warehouse to Mo Shanshan. There were too many things, and Li Yuan didn't take a look at them seriously. After all, before this, what he paid most attention to was the Energy Stone Origin Crystal Iron Essence. He didn't pay attention to other supplies at all. Fairy Overlord, Little Fairy Overlord, Black Shadow Cauldron, have you killed thousands of beasts and monsters? Li Yuan, pretty much. Fairy Overlord, I took Uncle Green and Uncle Lambo to see it. Uncle Lambo was very excited and said that these items are of very high quality. Most of them can be used to create rank 4 weapons and equipment, and some high-level warcraft materials. Rank 5, rank 6 are all possible. Li Yuan, as long as it is useful, allocate some people to mainly build equipment and weapons. Tai Jing can slow down a bit. Fairy Overlord, okay. Black Shadow Cauldron, don't you need the Iron Spirit? Li Yuan, yes, but don't be in a hurry. By the way, you can take a small amount of iron essence to the trading square to exchange for stone and wood. Fairy Overlord, no need. I'm not in a hurry to upgrade my town. Li Yuan, no, change it. I don't have much stone and wood here, otherwise I would let you upgrade the town now. Fairy Overlord, what's the situation? Li Yuan, you are my subordinate territory. The stronger you are, the better for me. Just listen to what I do. If you don't have enough at that time, I will transfer it to you. Little Fairy Overlord, okay, then listen to the Black Shadow Cauldron. Li Yuan, okay, so be it. By the way, let the dwarves build high-level weapons first. Don't worry about the materials and how high-grade they can be. Try to give it to me before noon tomorrow. Little Fairy Overlord, okay, I'll go tell them right now. In the afternoon, Li Yuan took time to watch the World Chat channel. It is now the 6th day, and there is only more than 1 day left before the beast tide hits. In the chat channel, I didn't see many people chatting and spanking. Of course, this is just that compared to before, the speed of information jumping is not as fast. There are still chat messages in the chat channel, but most of them are about the beast tide tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. After all, time is really running out. The impact of the beast tide is related to the lives of 3 billion Earth overlords. Even with Li Yuan's current power and strength, he dare not take the beast tide in his eyes, let alone other people. Again, no one wants to die. Although he came into this world uncontrollably, he will try his best to survive if he can. 7 days are about to pass. It's so difficult. Stop talking, it's hard. In the past 2 days, I've noticed that there have been more monsters near me. Even after the beast tide is over, we can't take it lightly, brothers. The person above is right. After all, the beast tide is just a level in our newbie stage. The world outside the castle is the most dangerous. Yes, those local forces are very powerful. Not only a wave of local forces have come outside my castle. These local forces seem to be naturally disgusted with us. They call us visitors from another world and are very hostile. It's obvious that when we suddenly appear in this world, we are invaders. We are naturally antagonistic. I feel that in the end, only one of us in the local forces will survive. Whoever survives to the end will dominate the war continent. Of course, the best among us overlords. Leuan looked at the information in the chat channel, some of which he agreed with, and some of which he disagreed with. For example, these people say that they overlords are completely opposed to the local forces, which is obviously not completely correct. A very typical example is Mo Shanshan from the Little Fairy Overlord. Over there are almost thousands of mountain dwarves who have taken refuge with her, and there are also various talents. Of course, on the whole, they are indeed invaders when they come to War Continent. Most of the local forces must treat them as enemies in this regard. Therefore, what some people say is quite right. The beast tide is just the first level for everyone to exit the novice village. After the beast tide passed and the castle's protective barrier disappeared, that was the biggest challenge for all overlords. At that time, local forces will be able to enter the castle. From that moment on, perhaps the most chaotic period of the entire war continent, countless wars will begin. 3 billion overlords can summon more than 20 types of soldiers within 7 days. So if you add it all up, it's equivalent to war continent suddenly having so many more creatures. How could it not cause a sensation? Only after one war after another can we settle down a little. But that's just the beginning. As the previous person said, only one side can survive between the overlord and the local forces. Only the winner can become the master of war continent. Cruel game, cruel world. However, thinking about the future, Leuan felt a little inexplicably excited. This is the result of his desire for hegemony. Just when Leuan was looking forward to his future, a notification sound appeared in his mind. Your unit killed a goblin and gained 250 energy points. Closing square bracket. Leuan was stunned for a moment and asked in confusion, did Haiying and the others encounter goblins? The goblin tribe they slaughtered last time was a vassal of the goblins, and it was just a small army that fled. Now, there are goblins near the castle. Strangeness. Could it be that the destruction of the goblin tribe made the Goblin Kingdom pay attention to this place? The Goblin Kingdom is in Andira state, and Leuan knows it. Next, news came that several more goblins had been killed, and Leuan couldn't help but recall Nia and Eeka. However, it was not the two of them who killed the goblin, so they had to call back other black shadows, one from each group. After Nia Eeka's questioning of the shadow, Leuan finally learned the whole story. As expected, it was the Goblin Kingdom that noticed the demise of the goblin tribe. Because the location where Black Shadow and the others killed the goblins was in the direction where the goblins were originally, near their cave dwelling. Eeka, go over and take a look at the situation. Leuan immediately asked Eeka to go over and investigate. About half an hour later, Eeka returned to the castle. After listening to Eeka's report, Leuan couldn't help but frown. Something unexpected happened, because the goblin tribe they slaughtered before was not a defeated army at all. It was a powerful figure from the Goblin Kingdom who was specially sent outside Crimson Moon Forest. The purpose is also very clear, not for anything in Crimson Moon Forest, but to monitor the werewolf tribe. Monitoring the werewolf tribe. By the way, Nia felt a crisis in this werewolf tribe when he went there. Is it possible that the werewolf tribe really has some secrets? Leuan thought for a while, then looked at Nia and asked, how far are you from rank 9? I feel it's almost too late. Nia replied. After killing the group of mutated lizards last night, Nia had already arrived at the door of rank 9. After spending most of the day spawning monsters, almost half of his body had now stepped into rank 9. Leuan nodded and said, let's go meet these goblins together. Eeka, you continue to kill monsters alone. Eeka naturally had no objections and was not worried about Leuan's safety, because the goblins only had one rank 9 leading the team. One is rank 9, a few are rank 8, and the rest are like rank 6. The total number of people was less than 100. Not to mention Nia, even Eeka. If it hadn't been for Leuan's order just now, he would have been able to wipe out all this group of goblins. Not long after, Leuan, led by Nia, appeared at the location of the goblins' cave dwelling. When they arrived, the goblin team had already set up camp under the cave dwelling. The goblins did not enter the cave dwellings, but set up several tents in the call where there was still a lot of black ashes. Compared with goblins, these goblins don't look much different in appearance, but they are taller and burlier. However, the equipment on his body is much better than the rags and metals of the goblins. At a glance, you can see that they are basically wearing rank 4 armor, and the stronger ones are equipped with rank 5 silver armor. Moreover, the rank 9 goblin Eeka mentioned was wearing golden armor. Silver armors are all rank 5, so the grade of this golden armor is obviously above rank 6. At this moment, outside the tent, a goblin in golden armor was talking to several silver armors, and his expression was not very good. What is the specific situation? Have you figured it out? Who killed Muto? The golden armored goblin had a very long beard, and when he spoke, some drool dripped down his beard, which was very disgusting. Muto is the goblin chief who was killed by Nia. A silver armor replied. It's not clear yet, but the person who inquired about the information should be back soon. My guess is that it might not have been the group of wolves and dogs that did it. We know very well what they want to do. Muto has been here for so many years. If they wanted to do something, they would have done it long ago. The golden armored goblin snorted coldly. It's better not to be them, otherwise, our Haibo family will destroy their hundreds of years of sacrifice. At this moment, a leather armored goblin hurriedly climbed down the hillside and arrived in front of the golden armored man. It's not good, it's not good. A silver armor scolded. Why are you panicking? What happened? Tell me. Died, the leather armored goblin said quickly. Reporting to the adults, when I came back, I found that several team members were dead. Huh, the golden armored goblin glanced over coldly. The leather armored goblin trembled in fright and quickly said, I found a castle. Outside Crimson Moon Forest. HMPH, you can meet these alien races everywhere. When Jinja heard about the castle, he immediately snorted and said, Muto was not killed by werewolves, then it was these visitors from other worlds who killed him. Then sir, what should we do? Next to him, a silver-armored goblin frowned and said, these visitors from another world are protected by a special magic circle. They came from the capital of the Goblin Kingdom and didn't know the basic information about the castle. After all, word has spread throughout the war continent that such castles have appeared in various places. My Haibo family is the third largest family in the kingdom. Although Muto and the others are a bunch of trash, they are also trash raised by my Haibo family. If you kill our trash, you will have to bear the wrath of the Haibo family. The golden armored goblin obviously didn't intend to leave just like that. He paused and then said, don't forget, we haven't caught those visitors from other worlds in the castle. They said that the magic circle that protects them can only 7 days. They suddenly appeared 6 days ago. In other words, in a little more than a day, the magic circle protecting them will disappear. Since you've already arrived, don't worry about it for a day or two. Kill these visitors from another world, and then go back to the werewolves as guests. After saying this, the other shining armors all nodded in agreement. They have seen a lot of visitors from other worlds. They are all very weak humans. Without the protection of the castle, they are nothing. Not far away, Leuan heard the conversation of these goblins and was slightly moved. It can be heard from their conversation that the local forces in War Continent are not ignorant of them, the Overlords. In a few days, they had a general understanding of the Lord of the Castle. Especially since the castle's protection period is only 7 days, everyone knows this. Of course, apart from these, what Leuan is most interested in is the werewolf tribe. When Nia went to investigate, she found an altar deep in the werewolf tribe. And now the golden armored goblin mentioned the sacrifice again and said that the werewolves had been preparing for hundreds of years. This was obviously a real secret. Leuan glanced at the group of goblins and said to Nia, let's do it, capture the golden armor first. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.